get into it.
Got it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Who's Taking Watch? The Dragon's Might. My name is Brad, and I will continue to be your DM for what's left of this arc, set in the world of Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time. Who's with me?
I'm Zach, and I will continue to be Dirk.
I'm Victor, and I'm going to be playing Lior.
Yes.
The energy level.
I'm Michelle,
Yes!
and I'm playing Tal.
Have to
All
think
right.
about it.
And I'm Marty playing Paige.
Oh, amazing. I've got
I didn't forget who I was playing. I just realized that I can't maintain that level of energy. Unlike someone I know.
You know, for a long time I was feeling like I was sort of left on an island for the energy level, but since it ended on like a I think I'm good. I think we're good. We're here.
I think the face you just made was...
Yeah, thanks for
A1.
trying to be part of that, guys. Well, if you're just joining us, welcome aboard, and if you've been watching so far, welcome back. For those who don't know, Who's Taking Watch is a anthology-style D&D actual play show, where us group of friends take turns spinning tales in some of our favorite worlds of fiction that exist just on the periphery of the main plot, sort of unexplored areas of the world. And so, as mentioned, this is in the world of Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time, where we're delving into sort of the beginnings, the mobilization stage of Logain Ablar's civil war in the country of Gildan. This is a non-canonical venture into what we think might have happened on the Fringe, if what might have happened was centered around a group of 4 vagrant, violent people, which is, you know, the classic Dungeons & Dragons experience. If you want to catch up on previous episodes, you can catch those right at the link below in our YouTube channel, and as always, our next episode will be uploaded next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with a audio-only version following on podcasting platforms the next day. And since I haven't really stumbled on any of my words, I'm going to cut my losses, save my victory. It's too late. I ruined it.
There it is.
We're going to move on.
You enunciated all of those words perfectly, though.
I know, but they
It's
were,
just the cadence.
but they
was
were
gone.
absolutely aimless. Not aimless is the direction of this story rapidly picking up in pace, and so I can't wait to find out what happens next. So we're going to go ahead and turn the page and enter the next chapter of Who's Taking Watch? The Dragon's Might. Seriously, what was that? So, last time we left off, you all had just escaped from the open way gate outside of Stedding Jinsoon with just enough of a fragment of your lives, barely escaping the clutches of a Fade, a Murdral pursuing you, which seemingly fell to the clutches of Mashin Shin, an even greater evil. After you went back to the steading and said your goodbyes to the kind elders who had housed you, you made your way across the freezing plains of the north of Gildan, trying to find, once and for all, the army of the false dragon Logain Ablar. And, along with him, the captured brother of Tal, Sammy Millen. Now, on this road, you guys had a couple of chill convos, some real relaxing times. Paige caught up with some old friends, managing to harness this strange, swirling storm of voices ability that you have into conjunction with the One Power and reach out to a mentor of yours, a critic of yours, essentially your mission supervisor, Adelaide Sedai. who restated that the meaning of her message to you, don't trust the blue, only trust the blues. That's the opposite. Only trust the blues, was still intact. You also reached out to your actual friendly mentor, Lucille Sedai, who was overjoyed to hear it. Not only you being safe, but how seemingly powerful you'd become. Now, also along this road, sending messages to, like, sending himself emails all over the 3 days was Dirk, who was practicing new abilities and new controls of your ability in channeling, trying to make it synthesize with more of the training you had, make it more of an extension of your fighting already and not a whole thing of itself. And while that seemed successful, the little nagging voice inside your head started to get a little bit more confusing. The line between what is real and who is real started to be blurred, and you tried to reassure Tal that all would be well and that, once she found her brother, then, you could just go your separate ways, and she forced you to, try and say you'd stay together. Now, a little bit afraid at where this voice was going, you had a particularly frightening dream in a dark hallway that seemed to bend space and time. A man with a face shrouded in shadow, with eyes of fire, and a mouth like a furnace, spoke to you, telling you cryptic sayings of whether or not you were the one, and asking you to serve him. Great timing, because you guys woke up and went to your last day of travel, accosting some scouts outside of the location of the People of the Dragon, including, unbelievably, Sword Guy.
You say accosting like we're the bad guys.
They accosted us.
Here's the thing. I want to say this dart, it'll kill you too. I think at that point you're accosting.
Got you there.
And whether it's justified or not is a debate, but, you got them to reveal the location of the camp within the Dalian Forest and give an indicator of where this prisoner, this last soldier, might be held. You guys crept up to the boundary of the camp, looking for this one knotted pine and finding it, surveying the inside of this camp that you could not see due to a trick of channeling, with a misreading of the detect thought spell by me, only on creatures you can see, but you managed to sneak your way in seemingly unseen and find Sammy. Unfortunately, you were spotted by none other than the big honcho himself, Logain Ablar, who reunited you all at the foot of Sammy's tent, where Tal was confronted with the picture of her brother looking up at her, responding to her saying, "We need to take you home," with confusion and a little bit of shame as you looked at the pin affixed to his jacket, a stylized D with horns on it, the symbol of the dragon. As Logain Ablar looks down upon you, a kneeling Dirk, and says, "Now, I really do hope that we can all be civil about this."
Time out.
Yes.
Zach, we just started.
I know. I just
Sometimes you need a breather right after puck drop.
Can you describe to me
Yes.
how, like, when we woke him up, how Tal's brother looked?
How he looked?
How he looks, like does he look bruised? Are there cuts? Does he look weathered? Is he healthy?
You know what? Give me like a perception or insight, I guess.
Okay.
It's kind of a cramped space. I know you got good eyes in the dark, but
Well, it's a 15, so I'm gonna go perception for a 20.
20. He looks, he looks all right. He at first you saw like a thin person curled up, but not to, just pull like the easiest example ever. It's like Victor's thin, but just in that's just his
Wiry.
but that's just like his body shape, and he's actually doing great. Like he's like
Kyle's brother
like
is
a
looking
slender,
good.
a slender,
Looking
strong, a slender, strong build.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
you're
Sound
perfect.
I'm on your side this time.
No bruises, no cuts.
Doesn't seem to be, no.
Okay. So
Maybe one like sort of scar on a cheek, but it doesn't look like a cut so much as it looks like a scar.
So like very, very similar physicality to Tal.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite similar to Tal, actually.
Do it again. Go. Everybody.
Now, I do hope we can be civil about this. Rest assured, if anyone wishes to try anything sneaking into this camp, we have means of dealing with that.
Seeing as war is your kind of civility, I'm not really sure that that's the direction I'm leaning.
Do you think that war is what I wanted?
You pursue it, you continue it. You try to take over this land for yourself.
No, not yet. Not here.
My friend misspoke. We are not here for trouble. We are just here for him, for her brother.
Well, that's lovely, and I do always enjoy seeing a family reunion. But, Samuel, if you wish to leave, you know that you're free to go. And Sammy goes, yeah, no, I know that I'm free to go. We just need to, I think I just need to fill my sister in on how things might be different than she might have imagined.
Were you brought into this camp as a prisoner? Were other people brought into this camp as a prisoner? And if so, why are you the only soldier that remains, Sammy?
I'm the only soldier that came. I came...
We were told your whole platoon was gone. Where are they?
No, I think I made sure that they all... And he looks over your shoulder at, like, the shorter man with the sort of constantly vexed hair that was standing with Logain. And he looks over and goes, I was told that the rest of the platoon would be... And he goes... As far as I'm aware, the rest of your platoon made it back totally fine, Samuel.
They did not. Samuel.
Above table? Yeah.
Did they? Oh!
Yes.
He was the only one.
Yeah, he didn't come
And
back.
and the rest of his platoon didn't like see where he was taken.
Yeah.
But we only know this because
Yes.
yeah.
Let's be civil about it.
All right, my bad.
Yeah,
I thought there were like a handful of soldiers who had escaped, came back, but not his whole platoon. I thought he was taken along with his platoon.
What that might have been is like the one, like everyone who made it back, like it was chaos. It was,
Cool.
but no one knew where Sammy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yep, never mind.
I think it's best that we have a conversation with some of the other of my cohort, regardless of what the goings-on are here. It is alarming that 4 outsiders have found my camp, seemingly unabetted, and I would like to know more of the truth of this. So please, if you'd follow me. Please, stand. Oh my goodness, where are my manners?
Sir, if you'd be so kind. We couldn't stay for questioning, but we would like permission to maybe camp outside of your camp.
And he goes and starts shrugging like he's going to say something, and the guy behind him goes, well, I'm afraid we're going to have to insist on some hospitality here. You could take it as hospitality, or we might have to enforce it, but 4 strangers walking in the night and stealing into a cabin to try and set one of our own free, we're going to have to know a bit more about your situations, if you'll understand. Begging your pardon.
We don't mean trouble. We'll follow. Right, Tal?
I don't mean any harm. And I do apologize. It's an awkward circumstance to have forced guest in sort of a Beauty and the Beast mode. But
I think a conversation is a good idea.
yes.
Don't you, Samuel?
No, I think a conversation would be merited. Sort of just an explanation of what's going on here. And Tala, I'd love to hear about what got you here and with what wild company. Sort of nods to you, Lior.
Felix telling me to go home and tell Mama that you were dead is what got me here.
And at that, like instantly deflates. Goes, yeah. I'll explain. We'll talk, you and I, once Logain is satisfied with the rest of your group. But let's go talk. Let's go talk, and you and I have a conversation to have after.
Is there a woman named Brenta here? I'll look at Logain.
Yeah, Logain goes, Brenta? Not that I'm aware of.
I look at the guy with the southern accent.
Yeah, look at the guy with the southern accent. Give me an insight check.
Not good.
No?
No. 11.
11, he goes, Arik, is there a Brenta? He goes, Frida can't quite recall. I'm not entirely aware of all the folks that have joined in on the cause.
Would have come in from Morburn.
Listen, sweetheart, I've been all over this
Don't
country.
sweetheart me.
Yeah,
Don't
and
even start.
And Sammy goes, hey, don't sweetheart her. He goes, apologies. I've been all around this country, all around the north of it, and I can't quite keep a tally on who's joined us from where exactly. But I could have someone look into it. Certainly, send someone to the women's quarters, see if there's a Brenta around.
Does he seem sincere?
You give me an insight check.
That's 13.
It's a 13?
Yeah.
That was almost a D12. He seems maybe a little too casual.
Okay.
But outwardly very like affable and open-faced, let's say. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it might go a certain way to perhaps promote some goodwill. Yes.
Of course. Yeah, we'll have someone look into it right away. And I mean, if y'all are staying the night, heck, you could look into it yourselves if you wish. And Logain goes, come, even though it's, a lovely night out, I'd rather get back inside and settle this before the night gets too long and we all lose sleep over this. And you feel now that he's saying this, it's warm in the camp, and you're not near a fire. Whereas it was like tundra that you guys have been walking across and hiking across for this whole time, it's very comfortable in here. It's not like it's heated up to like Bermuda, Jamaica, ooh, I want to take you levels, but like it's a very comfortable, like crisp autumn evening in here. And he goes, please follow me. And he turns and sets off.
How many guards in the room?
In terms of guards, you look and you see that like sort of the people that were looking around or like staring away from you at different bonfires aren't like casing you or following you, but they're all very much paying attention to your group. Logain is walking at the front of your group. You three might imagine like this is just like a poor choice, like just back to four people who have just snuck in. But Dirk, the thought doesn't even cross your mind that he might not be defended, because you can once again see just the scale of you're a floodlight and he's the sun in terms of the amount of sight in that he's holding on to
Like,
right
even
now.
if we were like to turn and run or turn and separate, there'd be people just everywhere.
There's people all over the place. You see that Sammy is walking, sort of trying to walk beside Tala, but I think you're adjusting your pace so that you're not quite next to him.
I was just gonna say
Yeah.
I squeeze in between these two guys.
Yeah, and
the
you guys
biggest
sort of
guys
like,
here.
it's not even 3x3. You squeeze in front of Lior and behind Dirk, and Sammy is behind Lior.
They're
he,
like, we're
he
on the
can't see you.
diagonal.
He can't see you, and he, you'll just see him nod to himself, Paige, and walk along. He's sort of scrambled and thrown a cloak over. You can see that he's got like a rapier at his side, and this other guy, this guy that he called Eric, the southern gentleman, he's walking along sort of in the midway point of the group. You could tell that he's walking next to the two of you, especially. But he is like seemingly not even paying too much attention to you guys. All the people that are like sort of staring at you guys and going like, what's going on? He's just going over like, hey, howdy, how's your evening going? Just cracking jokes at people and trying to get them at ease.
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
If you could remind me so I don't do your whole platoon went missing.
yeah, totally.
What happened to the folks from Moorburn?
To the folks from Moorburn, a lot of them just evacuated the town and went to Johanna. Brent was the one guy left because he was being paid to sort of like maintain like post presence there. But he did mention that like there seemingly were a number of people that he believes to have been taken. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would I just be able to, from that initial interaction, just try and look between Logain and Eric, and just trying to see how they are weighing us in terms of do they think, just from their looks and the way they're acting,
Yeah.
do they seem to think Dirk is the most dangerous? Do
How are
think
they like
I'm-
measuring you guys up?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, give me an insight check.
Sure.
You could finally use that insight.
Yes.
I believe in you.
I'm jinxed. Oh! It's, oh my god, it's like a 26.
Whoa! My
Nice.
goodness.
Like stat blocks start to appear. And
With a 26, I think you can see that at one point Logain was sort of like scanning you all like fairly intently, in a look that sort of like betrayed how like confident he presents. Just his eyes very much flittering over you, spending a few seconds on each. Having done that, seems quite relaxed. Is turning around and going like I hope you won't mind. It's a bit of a labyrinth to get to where we need to get to, but if you should choose to stay around, I do promise that it's easier to find your way around than it seems. Just trying to like be a bit of a calming presence. And then you turn from that, having gleaned a little bit of information there, and you turn and you see Eric is just looking up at you. With like not much of a smile on his face, and then you look over. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to be staring. It's just I can't say I've ever seen one of the Ogier before.
Really? There's a steading nearby.
Well, not too nearby. I'm not one for maps so much, but as I understand it, it's days away from here.
It's a couple days, right? It's
Yeah, you guys walked for like 4 days to get here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Real quick, do I feel like he was honest in terms of his? Is he like? Has he actually never met an Ogier? I'm just trying to get like, was that an?
That seems to be the truth.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems to be true.
Okay.
Yeah.
as we walk through, do we see any women and children, or do we see any laughter and games? Is it a military camp, or is it really like a small mobile village?
As you're walking through, give me a perception check.
Sure. 4.
So Paige doesn't see this, but you guys do. Yeah, no, I mean, like, you don't have to pretend you don't know this. You see, like,
There's people here.
the makeup of like these bonfires is changed a little bit from once you were at the perimeter to now further on the inside of the camp. And the further inside the camp you get, you do see some women. You see some children, like one kid who's like sneaking out of a tent and then a hand pulling them back and going like, it's far past your bedtime. You do see a few kids, some of the older ones, walking around one campfire, pretty like close to the center as you're walking. There's someone striking up a jaunty tune and a bunch of people clapping and dancing. It seems like it's not just military. It seems like there's there's some other presence here.
Okay.
And to that point, as you're walking past this boisterous campfire, Eric whistles that cool way that I can't do, and you look over and you see a woman with short black hair turn around and look at him and look at you guys, sort of like scan up past his eyes and go up to Leorgo and just give her loot off to somebody else. And people start going, and she goes, come on, you know the tune, you can strike it up yourselves. They keep going, and she starts to walk back, sort of meeting at a diagonal towards, you could see that the point you're approaching is like a large tent. This is like, not a circus-sized tent, but that kind of a style. Clearly, this is some sort of like meeting space.
I would imagine that on the walk, I'm not paying attention to anything. I'm not seeing the kids or the women. I imagine I'm like sandwiched in between these two guys, and Leora behind me just keeps getting like bumped into, because every once in a while I'll like stop and like make as if I'm turning around to go see Sammy, but I change my mind. And like every time I do that, Leora's just like, what are you doing?
And every time you do, Sammy goes, yeah. Oh, what? No.
And then at one point, I'll just like, kind of like angry tears like dashing out of my eyes, just go up and look at Sammy, punch him in the shoulder, and go back.
Yeah. Oh my God. And as you go back, he's not going to try and like, make a stink of it to you, but Paige, you'll hear him going like it's crazy how well she's learned to punch for her size. Just like you see for a second, just dead arm. He's like
Stunning
shaking it. Yeah, he actually falls over into a campfire. No, but he shakes it off, and you can see that he's looking like, clearly like confused. It's a weird mix of emotions that confused, panicked, ashamed, happy. It's a weird thing that he's woken up to here.
Yeah, Paige has tried to keep an unreadable face, and it's the first time she kind of like cracks a smile a little bit.
Also, just for logistics' sake, your detect thoughts is worn off by now.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah. You guys walk up to this large tent. Eric holds the flap open, and Logan says, "Gentlemen, as always, Mr. Porcel." And you enter into this large, like little pavilion sort of area where there's the ground is cleared of grass, hard packed dirt now to function as like a really easy walking ground. There's a large table that's been you can see sort of like hastily built in the center of the room in sort of like a octagonal shape so that there's room for a lot of people to stand around it. You could see there is a tall, thin man sitting in a corner of the room. You could see that having beat you guys to this place is the woman that you saw by the bonfire, who is just, taking off her gloves and putting like a small case with a flute down onto a table. And I think notably you don't see like a throne. You don't see any real designation of regality outside of this same D that is carved into the center of this large table that has maps put out across them. And so as you enter...
Anything on the maps?
Give me a perception check.
15.
15. Before they can close them, as you guys enter, this woman goes over and starts rolling up these scrolls. You can see they are maps of Gildan. They look like they've got blocks of, like you can't necessarily see that they're soldiers, but you can reason that out from what you've known from Byron. You can't quite read the words in this time. And there are other maps, too, of places that you don't necessarily recognize before they close those up. And Logain turns to look at you and says, "Now, if we can all speak frankly, what journey has led you to this camp? And how have you all come together to rescue my good friend Samuel?"
That's what brings us to your camp. My friends came to help.
Well,
Rarely is a story that undetailed. It's the gaps between that make it interesting.
we come from the capital, and where I was working. Fixing some of your fine work, the walls, as you could imagine.
And as he sort of like just frowns at you as you say this, Eric grabs his sleeve and goes, "Remember that firebug that you thought was a bit too chaotic even for your..." He goes, "Oh no, he hasn't gone and made a mess of the city, has he?"
He sends his greetings.
Can I make an insight check?
You can make an insight check, sure.
Can I make an insight check of the southern fella?
Sure.
Yeah.
16.
16 on Logain.
Yeah.
22.
22. Logain seems genuinely like confused at the holes in the wall and stuff like that, and genuinely like, oh no, this idiot when he mentions that. You can't really get a read on Eric as he says this. Closest thing you can imagine is, maybe the figurehead or the leader might not know every person who is in his ranks,
Well, he's not making a mess of things anymore. We put an end to that.
Well, thank you. It's people like that give my movement a bad name, quite honestly, and I'm sorry you had to deal with whatever that entailed.
Can I get a read on this guy? This is peculiar.
On Logain?
On Logain.
Sure.
Why is he being... That's a 10.
I don't know who this guy is. I didn't read any of the books.
None of them? Zachary!
I'm like 80% way through the
the
first
research! With a 10, can't really get a read on him.
He seems more charming and honest than Dirk has ever... Nope, don't think that. Okay, no, fine. Sorry.
He goes, truly, I found it distasteful, some of the people that have been attracted to join this movement. And, well, I do think some level of conflict is to be expected for the world-shaking claim that I'm making. Unnecessary combat is not something that I'm in the interest of having.
And what would necessary combat be?
The dragon must rise to the status that the dragon must rise to. There are prophecies that need to be fulfilled, and the world fears another breaking, that I might be mad, quite frankly. Surely I have to expect some level of opposition in that sense, and
your final goal? What do you hope by fighting a nation that is so peaceful that its army is not large?
no, It's all right. I don't wish to fight the army. I simply declared the truth, and for it I was stripped of rank and of land, which was bothersome but expected. I have no desire to be at war with the Legion of the Wall, with, as I understand it, any of your brothers, and looks to you as Sammy. But I will not be stopped. I have things that I must fulfill.
In this country?
The dragon is to unite all nations under one banner.
What were you trying to fulfill in Morburn?
I had no specific aims in the countryside of Gildan.
Then how did it get burned down?
What?
Insight check.
Insight check. Actually, sorry. He goes, that is a black mark on my record, and it is not something that I wished for. From all accounts that I've heard, things got out of hand in the conflict.
Were you there?
No, by no means. I've been in the north for the better part of 2 years. Being so close to the capital would be hazardous for all involved. No. I was not there.
Don't take this the wrong way, but you say you have prophecies to fulfill, and now you say that you've stayed in the north for 2 years. I don't understand.
And the woman speaks up and says, well, you can't exactly expect someone to just immediately find traction. If you can't find a base in your home country, then you'll never be able to find the success that you need as you travel across this continent. No, he has to stay here and make his people, our people, strong first, if any of this is to work. And as she's saying that, she's looking at him and sort of giving him a look of, like, remember? And Logan goes, yes, we've decided that although the time draws near, it has been necessary to build somewhat of a movement from the ground up, rather than just taking the success of, no matter who the man is, one man wandering across this continent. It couldn't be done.
You're killing people.
I
You have soldiers who are fighting the soldiers that are here. If you were trying to start a movement, you wouldn't be killing people. And I look at Sammy.
Sammy looks at you and goes, Tala, that is... Sure. Tal. That is the reason that I am here. Why do you think that I'm giving information, as I'm sure you've gathered by now? You're smart. Why do you think I'm giving information about the Legion of the Wall to Logain? It's so that we can know where not to be. I've seen enough Moorburns. I've been patrolling this country. I've seen the unnecessary conflict that's happening.
That's not what's happening, though.
From what we've learned in the capital, you want war with this country, with the army. Why is it that that is the image they have? Why are they conducting patrols? What reasons have you given them for them to believe that? Because it's all we hear. We find all of your stories hard to believe, as I'm sure you may have gathered.
Well, that's evident to me. Quite frankly, I don't know that I'll be able to convince you. What I want is nothing more than to fulfill what has been laid out for me since I was born. What has been laid out for me across the ages. I have no desire for people to get hurt in the middle of that. And I can't possibly be in charge of every choice that every person who is inspired by my image makes. But I hope to guide us towards a better future. For I'm sure you all fear the breaking of the world that the dragon will bring. But it is only in the interest of reshaping it to be a better place.
What to you constitutes a better place?
One free of the Dark One. One free of the hold on Sidin of the one power that all men, save for me, have succumbed to.
And how is it that you have not succumbed to it?
That's what I want to know. How can we even know you have this one power if it's not connected to the Sidin?
You wish for proof that I
Naturally.
channel. And Sammy goes, maybe just a small one. Maybe just keep it. He's like, no,
I kick him.
you kick Sammy. He goes, very well. What do you wish to see?
What do you do? I don't know what happens.
And at this, he laughs a little bit, and you guys just see him sort of chortle some air out of his nose. What you see is, without moving his hands, without doing so much as blinking, Dirk, you see two tendrils of air weave their way around your ears, over your cloak, taking the hood off of your head, and propelling it backwards, seemingly flying aimless across the room. And as it's about to just clatter to the floor, he stops it in the air and floats it over to a coat rack, hangs it on the coat rack, and goes, "Oh my goodness, I promised tea. Very rude of me." And turns around to the corner, and you see a tea kettle that has no fire near it start to boil.
You said I saw this aura on him, this yellowish glow
Yeah.
of sorts.
Yeah.
Is this changing in any way when he's doing this?
It's not so much that it's changing, it's more that maybe it solidifies a little bit. It's clearly still translucent,
Right.
but you're clearly understanding that you are seeing two worlds interacting at once, sort of. The mundane and the essential nature of the one power. And so as he's weaving these tendrils, and you just see turning around, and none of you guys see the change of the kettle outside of it starting to steam and whistle a little bit. You see that within it there is just finely tuned mixes of water and fire.
Gotcha. So I'll nod at him and say, I'm sorry I doubted you. And I'll go get my hood, put it back on, cover my bald spot.
Okay. He goes, "I'm sorry, that was quite rude."
All right.
I don't care for the one power. What I wish to know is, how are you so sure that you won't go mad? The dragon himself, Luz Theron Telemon, the strongest channeler known for male Aes Sedai's,
Yes.
succumb to it. What makes you so special?
Well, my friend, and your name?
Leo.
Leo. Well, Master Leo, I'm afraid that as many poor men have discovered over the years, I found myself in a bit of a uncertain predicament at the age of 21. In the year 992, I found that I could do things and affect the area around my family's estate, and hid from it knowing that it would result in madness. And I hid from it and became a recluse for years, until I was an afterthought in the nobility of Gildan. Until I was hiding for so long that I finally stopped to realize that nothing had quite befallen me. And so, my dear friend Lena, who is so learned in all matters of adventure and lore, and he looks over to his friend, the female companion with the short hair, and he goes, was the first person I trusted, and together we found an answer. Tell me, have you heard of the Carathon cycle?
It is one of the writings, the
Yes.
prophecies.
It contains the prophecies of the dragon. Well, the natural conclusion at the end of it was that if I hadn't gone mad, maybe I was given the luck of a better fate. Maybe I was positioned by the Creator to try again in this cyclical fight over time. And so, after waiting another year or so and seeing no downward trajectory, I declared myself and, well, had to sort of go into hiding for a little while, but now that my movement is gaining strength, it's time to continue along this path. And you guys know when he says, like, I started channeling in the year 992, it's like the start of the year 998, like 997, 998. He's been channeling for like 5 or 6 years right now, which is like wild.
You aren't the first one to call themselves the dragon,
No.
and you might not be the last. What would happen if someone else would call themselves the dragon? How would you resolve that?
Well, the pattern has a way of resolving these things. I haven't even been the only dragon and person to think myself the dragon in the last 5 years. There's been a great number, 3 perhaps, across the continent that have declared themselves along with myself. And, well, the pattern continues to spin out the true thread and discards the frayed ones. Now tell me, I understand that you've had a lot of questions for me, and that's a realistic expectation for me to have, given my position that I've given myself. I do wish to know more about how it is that you've made your way here, and how it is that you've found me.
We
walked.
walked from the steading nearby. I had work that needed to be taken care of there.
Certainly.
And we knew that her brother was... Well, we thought he had been kidnapped. And so my work concluded. They had an inkling as to where you might have to be.
And at that, he looks over, he goes, Samuel, did I not tell you that not sending any sort of word would lead to, how did you put it, a wild goose chase the likes of which Gildane had never seen? He goes, yeah, no, you mentioned that, yeah.
Why did you say it like that?
Gildane.
Well, he was saying, like, how did you put it, Sammy?
Oh,
Yeah,
Sammy put it
Yeah,
out. I was like,
yeah.
Goodness.
The real nobles know what's up. No, he says, and Sammy goes, look, I had seen so much violence. I'd seen so much death for the year that this has been going on, and over time I started to ask if we just left well enough alone, maybe this fighting didn't need to happen.
What if they just left well enough alone? What if they went and found some wild corner that wasn't claimed by anybody and started their movement there? No, they have to take, a third of Gildane with them? That's not fair to anybody. That's not fair to the people who live here. That's not fair to the people who don't want to follow the dragon. Go find your own kingdom.
It's not a fair world, Tal.
So you took the unfair side. I get it.
There's no fair side.
There is one. You don't take over somebody else's home. I can't believe I have to tell you this.
Yeah, you just, he's not even gonna try and rebut you on this. Just shame.
Can you imagine if Eloise's husband just turned around, looked at Papa, and said, "Oh, I'm gonna take your farm now. It's mine now. Go away, or let me run your farm for you."
Listen, it's a different scale of thing that's happening here.
It's not a different scale of thing.
The Dragon Reborn is not a different scale of thing than Eloise's husband
It's
coming to
the
dad.
same thing, just on a... Fine, it's a different scale, but it's the same thing.
Okay, thank you. I'm not saying that I'm not the bad guy here, but like, come on.
You are the bad guy.
Okay, I can be the bad guy.
For the first time ever.
At that, he just...
Oh, gosh.
Deep shame. And Logan goes,
When's that tea coming?
yeah, at this, as you guys have been talking, it's boiling fast. He goes, nah! Now, her I've understood. What about the three of you? What is it that's drawn you on this path?
We met... Sorry.
Right, no, but why is it that they wanted to tag along with a girl looking for her brother?
'Cause they like me. Why is that so hard to understand?
You have to understand that this is an honestly legitimate question.
'Cause they like me is an honest and legitimate answer.
That's wonderful. Why have you subjected yourself to the danger of a civil conflict to help this person that you like?
To be honest, she's quite stern and stubborn. I do like him a lot.
And?
Someone needs to protect her.
We traveled a long ways before we decided to
Give
come
me a
here.
deception check.
Deception check? You have other reasons for being here? We're about to find them.
Not one.
That's great. I didn't roll a nat one.
Yeah.
No other curiosities?
I'll just look down right away. Lior.
I owe them all my life. I wouldn't have been able to do what I did, and, well, I got myself into a spot of trouble, and they didn't hesitate to risk themselves for me. So it's the least I could do.
We've all been looking after each other for the last little while, and when Tal told us that he was going to come save his brother, we thought it was suicide, and we couldn't let him go alone. So we decided to come. Tal's a fierce one, fierce and stubborn, and she believes things in such a strong way. It's hard to deny. It's hard to let someone like that walk into what you believe to be a pit of vipers alone. And here we are.
Well, I do believe everything you've said. I do also find it fascinating, your ability to talk your way in circles around saying anything about yourself.
You want to know about me?
I would love to know about you.
When I met Tal, my intention was to join the army that would be fighting against you. I don't have much in the way of skills, but I wished to explore the medical department.
Ah, the medical department.
Yes.
He knows what that means.
Tell me, how do your remedies work themselves?
Not great unless someone's gravely wounded or has a dire case of scurvy. However, I do have a passion root flower salve that I thought had a lot of potential, but no one here believed in. But when I found out that
Administered intrarectally.
the dosage just does things you never thought. But when I got to the capital, and I realized things were a bit different, I had to rethink. And I had to choose, do I go a separate way from my friends who have helped me dearly, or do I help one of them bring back her stolen brethren?
That is fascinating. I had one question about the passion root flower. Are you an Aes Sedai?
No! What? If I was an Aes Sedai, I surely wouldn't be using passion root flower.
Likely you wouldn't be. And you guys all see when Paige says no, his shoulders, like, he's been like, interesting, but you've seen like sort of his hackles rise the moment that you started talking around anything as soon as he looked at you. When you say no, he relaxes a little bit. Goes,
That's not the only one I have.
well, I would love for you to test those on other people so we can get a good peer review system going.
Perfect. Samuel, are you doing anything after tea, perhaps?
I'm in pain.
He's deeply, deeply sick.
Yes.
He's gravely.
Around this point, the tall, gaunt figure who's also been in this room. It's been Sammy, this woman he identified as Lena, Logain, Alric Porcel, and
Alric, you said.
Eric. Okay. Stupid. Eric Porcel, and this gaunt figure that you all saw sitting down when you walked in and has not really said much, stands up. Very like military cropped hair, very well defined cheekbones, tall man of about 6 feet tall, and says, Logain, I think that we've had as much talking around the actualities of what needs to happen here as we're going to have. What are you going to do with these people? Don't just bandy around it all night. We all have sleep to get. And you can see that Logain has sort of been like playing like a little bit of like verbal like cat and mouse for a while and clearly enjoying himself. He goes, yes, thank you, John. Unfortunately, we are going to have to insist that you stay for a little while. I won't say forever, because my greatest hope is that we can depart with a better understanding, and I wish to hold no prisoners. But understanding that you've found our camp, and seemingly have come with an understandably adverse impression of our movement, we are going to have to insist that you stay for at least a few days. A tent will be provided, or separate tents, should you wish. But please do know that you will be kept under a watch.
Understood.
I'll look at Sammy. No prisoners are brought here? No people against their will?
Eric is very persuasive. I didn't want to come here. But, and then you could see him cringing as he's going to say it. He's like, Logain's got some really interesting ideas.
Remember how I told Paige that you're going to need a lot of medical attention because you're in a lot of pain?
Yeah, for sure.
Stop talking.
Okay.
What will it take for us to be allowed to leave?
Well, as I've mentioned, an understanding. I wish to know where you come from and a bit more of the truth that you've started to tell me. For I feel that there's just another layer that we can peel back that might make me a little bit more comfortable.
I guess that means I can leave any time because I'm an open book.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to insist on this being a sort of family retreat. If there's anyone here that I'm pretty sure will immediately leave and cause as much damage as they can, it would be you, my friend.
I'm not your friend.
And I regret that.
You keep a lot of strange bedfellows. We've run across a few channelers has seemed to have devoted themselves to you.
Yes, it seems that it's a movement that inspires hope for some. Rarely are people able to manage themselves for a long time as myself or as John here have. And points over to the gaunt man who just very soberly nods. And he goes, I wish to begin the process of fulfilling all these prophecies of the dragon so that we can rid the world of this awful injustice that's been generationally passed down upon hapless men who've made no decision of their own.
How do you expect to do that? Are you meaning to tell me that you have a madman amongst your midst?
I would not have someone that I don't trust this close by my side. Give me an insight check.
Trying all the different dice. Oh gosh, it was an 18!
It feels like it wasn't an 18.
Four, son of a cracker.
I wouldn't have anyone mad this close to me in a position of trust. John is quite often the voice of reason when I get a little bit too fanciful or caught up in prophetic wisdom.
Could I just take a quick look at John?
Yeah.
And see, like, what... Are there any features, whether it's skin tone, whether it's, like,
what he's
clothing,
wearing.
anything like that to kind of...
Yeah, give me some vibe checks.
Could I do that as well?
Yeah.
For him and Lena, I was hoping.
Sure.
While they vibe check, I'm straight up gonna look at John and be like, "Do you channel?"
Oh my god.
Rarely.
But you can.
Yes.
For how long?
What's it been? About 2 years now? Logan goes, yes, perhaps a little bit less. The first time I was accosted by, those who wished to entrap me. John had heard tell of my movement and came and, we formed a formidable team. And I was able to escape to regroup my strength.
So then how do you know that you're the Dragon Reborn if John can channel too?
Well, for one, I'm quite a fair deal stronger than John. John goes, I know I'm not the dragon. I have no desire to be.
Does desire dictate destiny or fate?
Certainly doesn't, but I guess that's my luck in this scenario. Very, very even keel guy.
Oh.
What's your vibe?
What is the...
Insight. Where's your vibe skill?
25.
25?
He's vibing tonight.
No, sorry, 7.
7. When you said herbalist or whatever, you were saying, like, I want to be a healer, you see that Lena has gone over to, like, sort of, like, self-consciously adjust a little table that has, like, some herbs and salves on it. And you're a little bit distracted with that. With a 25, he's, like, almost alarmingly calm. Like, feels like a hurricane couldn't phase this guy.
Okay. And do I have any inkling from...
a visual. You
Yeah,
wanted
just
a visual, yeah.
like anything that could... does he have, like, the Gildan accent? Does he have, like... Are there any telltales as to where this dude might be from?
You're noticing that there's, like, a real array of Gildan accents, and some of them are less even regional, and some of them might be more class-based, which is what you're seeing from a Logain who you compare closest to Lady Paricia Lurin. In fact, in the conversation, Logain would have said, yes, John came down from the North Country in the mountains, and so seemingly came down from the Mountains of Mist in the north of Gildan. And
Does John have... Now that I've lost some hair and lost a fingernail...
yeah, totally.
Does John have any telltale signs? Like, do I find him, like, missing anything or covering up something?
Give me an perceptigation check.
Jeez. Oh my god.
7.
7.
Dump them all.
You don't really see anything that he might be covering up. You're more self-conscious about your bald spot right
absolutely.
now. But with your 25, and because you were asking for appearance too, I mean, the thought that pops into your mind first is maybe it isn't well-defined cheekbones. Maybe it is more gauntness. You know, calm as stone. You know, not like shabbily dressed or anything like that. You know, he's got his best pants on, a good pair of you know, like leather boots, leather gloves. He's clearly just
Solid as a rock.
yeah, rocking it. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said you met John in the north?
Yes.
At Logan.
Yes. Well, my family's estate was in roughly the center of the Mountains of Mist, as far as longitude, because it's long. You know, I've learned this recently. I've learned this
very
recently.
familiar.
I see maps sticking out of your backpack. You learned so
Lat
much.
is flat.
Like you say, he's fat. I was like,
Long is long.
No. Long is long. Lat is flat.
No.
But aren't lateral movements up and down? So like,
God, where was I?
no.
You met in the north, close to your
Yes, well,
estate.
he came down from the north, having heard of my being there. Evidently, something arose, and John said. Clearly, he had been staving it off for some time, and I wanted to find some company in attempting to do the same myself.
All right.
For a group of people who, at the moment, do not trust us enough to leave, you seem awfully forthcoming with
Yes.
information.
My movement hasn't been a secret. For all who wish to hear it, the information is there, but it's been suppressed by those who fear the necessary change that this will bring. None wish to see change, truly. None in power do. And that's why it has to be forced in this game of cards that we play. Sort of like a, you know, Uno draw 4 situation. But then I play the draw 4, and then Eric plays the draw 4, and then just everybody plays draw 4, so you have to pick up like 16. Then everyone blinks and goes like this and forgets what Uno is, and we come back.
Yeah.
Now, the hour draws late, and so we will show you to your accommodations. On the morrow, you may explore the grounds, knowing that you're being watched out of necessity, but you may explore the grounds, you may speak to who you wish to speak to. Perhaps you'd have interest in speaking with Lena more about this, you know, medicinal interest of yours.
What happens when we tell you more information, or the information you're looking for, and you still don't let us go?
I give you my word. If by the end of 5 days' time
5 days.
you are not satisfied, you're free to leave as you wish.
Why do you want us to stay then?
Because he's moving in 5 days.
Do you think that it's a common occurrence for 4 remarkably disparate individuals to stumble upon the camp of the people of the dragon? How many times do you imagine this has happened?
Probably few, which is why I would imagine that such people in any normal army would be kept as prisoners. But if you say we're free to go in a couple days, I just don't fully understand your intentions.
My intentions are to bring light to the land.
Your intentions are to take what people won't give you.
My intentions are to show people that they are afraid of what must be given. I would be a poor beginning of a dragon if I sought to imprison folks. And I'm beginning to understand that there may have been more of a situation with the returnees from Morburn than I had learned of. And he's looking over at Eric, and Eric's looking at him going, he goes, I will speak of this with those who I need to speak with.
Thank you.
Is sincerely, I do not wish to be running any sort of operation like that. When it's necessary for safety, I take the time to evaluate, but that should be a necessity, not a first or second option.
Can I do one last insight check?
Yeah.
Just to get the sincerity on that?
Yeah.
Not bad. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You read sincerity off of Logain. No doubt. I think you also read a small bit of guilt. I think with a 20, you read a little bit of guilt, but that is seemingly hard to conflate with the sincerity that you're reading off. But you are getting both of those conflicting images. Now, I'm afraid that we have discussions that us five must have.
We will speak again tomorrow, then.
Certainly, we will all speak again, and if any do wish to come and find me, you know where to do so. Looks over at you when he says that. Now, the hour grows late, and I understand that this is hardly a nice welcome, but I'm afraid it's the most hospitality I can muster, so I wish you good night, and again, on the morrow, feel free to explore the grounds. And with that, he goes, Samuel, maybe... no, Samuel, maybe you stay here. Lena, if you could show them to their lodging. She goes, yes, right away. And goes, come if you'll follow me, please. And, very much, even though it's been sort of like a weird, sort of like tense vibe in here, she saunters out like she's just, walking out of the club for a smoke break, like she's very casual, and walks out of the tent and beckons to you all.
As we walk out, I'll just look at Tal and go, we'll see you tomorrow then, Samuel. First thing in the morning.
If you wish to see me first thing in the morning, I will be by my tent.
I'm going to step really close to him. I'm going to say, the information that you have from Felix is going to run dry. The Dragon's army and the Legion of the Wall will clash.
And I'm trying to do everything I can to avoid that.
You will be on the opposite side of a war from all of your brothers and me.
Do you think I haven't thought about that every single day?
Not enough.
I'm sorry to hear that, Tal.
As he's saying that, I'm walking.
Yeah. You walk out of the tent and you just hear, I'm sorry to hear that. And you walk back out through the camp, and it's very much the thing of like people like huddled around the door trying to listen. They're not right at the flap of the tent, but like people are sort of like huddled around, and there's no real sound. And as Lena opens up and she looks around and goes like, you're all terrible at pretending that you weren't, pretending, oh, sorry, I was going to do my laundry. Everyone disperses, goes back to like half-heartedly playing the lute songs, but like very much looking at you guys all as you walk off. And she goes, don't mind all those folks. Most of the people who have joined our cause have done so out of an abundance of curiosity. And, well, you're a curious bunch.
I'm not curious.
Yeah, it's mostly you, big guy.
Why do you have to say it every time? I mean, I understand.
To be 14, 9, contrarian? Anyway.
Sure.
And she looks like she was clearly trying to, like, stir the pot with you, and she's like, that didn't work. Unbelievable. Everything I read off of you said that should have worked. And they just bring you to a tent. It's a tent. It doesn't have like a ton of stuff around it. You guys have like backpacks and bedrolls that you probably like left outside of their encampment, but someone has sent for and grabbed, and you can see that they're already in this tent.
As we leave,
Yeah.
I'm going to hand her a little before I enter the tent, I'm going to hand her a little jar and say, this is red ant mash. It works very well on dysentery. Just apply a bit at the opening.
Ah, red ant mash. And
Yes.
that works well on dysentery?
On dysentery, yes.
Incredible. Can you make me a deception check?
Oy.
13.
She very sincerely looks at you and goes, I'll give it a try. Not that I don't have this, I'm not talking about my, good night.
2 swabs. 2 swabs. It's all right.
Two? Looks horrified, but like looking at it very much like Smeagol in the Ring. Like, it's not, I shouldn't.
As we're walking throughout the camp,
Yeah.
can I throw up my divine senses for how, like, wherever we are, like when we meet with Logain, just to see if anything pings just while we're in the camp?
Sure. And you do, and you don't sense any pings. You don't sense that there's any like shadow spawn in here. I mean, that sort of checks out with the missive that you found on
Yeah.
a Trolloc saying like the pretender will be cowed.
Yeah.
It made it hard to imagine that there would be like creatures of the Dark One in this camp, but it's maybe a little bit reassuring to you
Yeah.
that you don't sense that.
He's quite convincing.
Well, I'll leave you to it. Good night.
Good night.
If you have any questions, you can usually find me by some loud campfire somewhere.
Brenta. A
Brenta.
woman from Morburn.
From Morburn.
We're looking for her.
I will look into it tonight,
Thank you.
of course.
Insight check.
Sure.
Will she look into it? 19.
Oh my gosh.
She
It's the globe.
she looks worried. She looks like, yeah, I'll look in. She says, you know, she's nodding to you. I'll look into it. Something about this question worries her.
She already knows.
It's the dysentery.
Brent is dead.
Brenta had dysentery, but it's too late.
As soon as she leaves, I'm going to quietly and subtly channel a web of detect thoughts that I will spread out into a radius of 60 feet in order to just be aware of anyone approaching the tent, if there's any listeners, if there's...
So he had mentioned that there was a misread. You need to see the person that you're casting
You
detect
need to
thoughts on.
see the person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I was saying in the
okay.
like technically the whole thing of like I'm waiting for the I didn't
Yeah,
realize
yeah.
it on the spot
I did
either, so
not.
that's fine.
Alright.
It's someone that you see.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you can't just like cast out a net swimming into the void. Yeah.
That's really too bad,
Yeah.
but that's okay. I will adjust.
Thank God for me. Yeah.
That's what I say
crazy.
every night.
Yeah.
He said it in character too.
Take inspiration. I can be bought. And leaves you guys for the night.
Okay.
I hate to say it, but they seem sincere.
Who's partly convinced here? Say I.
Nobody's partly convinced. As soon as you think about the fact that they are the driving force behind a civil war. If they left, there would be no more civil war. They have no claim to this land. They don't have any right to take it away from anybody.
But they're not.
They're not.
But they are.
People are volunteering.
But they've claimed this as their territory, their home space that they're going to camp out on. The king and Johanna be damned.
This is not land. I think they came here because this is as far out of the way as possible.
It's not. It's part of Gildane. If they wanted to go as far out as possible, go into the peaks of the Mountains of Mist. Go to a land that hasn't been claimed. But you can't just say, "Oh, hey, it doesn't look like you're using this northern third of your country. Let me take it." You can't do that.
I understand you're upset. And I am as well.
Do you think I would be this upset if you decided to camp out at like a kilometer away from Tarvalon?
I don't think it has anything to do with where the camp is.
Yes, it does. It has everything to do with it. If they want to start their own commune, no, that's not in this world.
It can be. I'm fine with the word commune.
If they wanted to start their own thing, then go do it in a place that doesn't belong to people. It's like
Tal, do you still want your brother to come back with us?
Yeah. What's going on in there?
I don't know. I don't know. It sounds like Sammy just got sick of the fighting, but I can't help but think that there's something twiddly.
You told me that Sammy was the best of all the brothers.
He was.
Look, maybe we should give him a chance. We have a couple days, and even if we wanted to run, we shouldn't do it on the first night.
Regardless, I think he should come with us. I'm not the one who's going to tell Mama. It's got to come from his mouth. And if, on the trip back to our farm, he comes to his senses, well, so be it. But if he doesn't, at least he's not a coward.
The irony here.
The irony is that we're actually going to kidnap your brother, who we originally thought was kidnapped, but voluntarily chose to go somewhere. Which I don't mind. I just really like how somehow we're the bad guys in this situation.
I never said that we had to kidnap him if he agrees to go.
Tal, I'd like to paint a picture for you, a hypothetical picture. Mm-hmm. What if we found out that this land right here is owned by a farmer who supports Logain Ablar, and thus this land that he stands on is land that he has every right to be on? If you were to put the land claims out of your mind, how would you feel about what we heard tonight?
He doesn't seem very mad. He seems very, very coherent. Frighteningly so, almost.
Haven't any of you thought that maybe his madness is thinking that he is the Dragon Reborn?
I did, but then Jeffrey James over there is apparently not going mad either, and he channels too.
I don't know anything about channeling. All I know is that boys don't channel.
That is the root of the question.
So if he's actually the Dragon Reborn, which, yeah, sure. But if he is, then he can go do his own thing. Not in Gildane.
Tal, imagine if the thing that was the worst thing about you, that people wanted to kill you over, was actually the thing that made Logain special. And people couldn't kill him for it because they weren't strong enough. That type of power just will naturally attract people.
And that's fine. They can go attract elsewhere.
Paige, give me a history check.
Thank you.
You too, Lior.
His presence is the reason for civil war.
Use a magical.
He
crazy.
has people fighting in his name.
He is of Gildane. Gildan.
And he's disavowed all the people that we've had problems with. And, I mean, listen, I'm an okay judge of character. He seemed to be pretty honest that he didn't know much about the crap we dealt with.
You rolled a 4 the whole time.
He doesn't know he rolled a 4.
Dead certain.
I am pretty freaking certain that this dude's above board.
I know that his presence and his soldiers are fighting against the Legion of the Wall. And they're doing it because they're in this country. They need to go find their own country.
Tell, I have the children of the light. Do you believe they think they're doing right?
I don't care if they think they're doing right or wrong, as long as they stay in their own country. Don't come to Gildane and try to put the children on the light stuff on people from Gildane.
I understand that's the conversation you want to have.
Gildanese.
Gildanians.
Yeah.
Gildaners.
Gildanians. Oh, Gildane sounds better now, doesn't it?
I think what I want to say is that the information you have has come from your side, which is as true as we believe it to be. But what if it wasn't?
Does he have soldiers?
He has volunteers.
He has volunteers.
Does he have people fighting the Legion of the Wall?
We don't know if they fought him or if he waged the war? It's hard to see things from both sides. I am aware.
It doesn't matter who started each skirmish or each battle. What matters is that the reason the battles are happening is because he's here.
Lior, you have a lot of maps. When Tal keeps saying, go find another country that's unoccupied, you realize quickly Tal might not have an idea that there is no such thing.
Michelle knows this.
I'm aware you know.
myself.
I'm aware you know it, and that's why you keep saying it. So I'm like, so somebody.
Yeah.
It's her strongest argument. Take her down.
Drag her.
Look, Tal, no matter where they go, there's going to be someone who wants to fight them. Here, it's you and Gildan. Elsewhere, it'll be the Altarans, or it'll be the people of other countries. They're not going to be accepted anywhere, but they are of Gildan. And it doesn't
He
sound...
is of Gildan, and his nobility has been revoked.
How was your history check?
It was a 13.
It was a 13.
And a 12. Sorry, you know that. Okay.
Yeah. You guys kind of know that like there's a lot of like far-reaching stuff. You don't know of any specific prophecies that need to be fulfilled in Gildan. Just like on a base level, you know that there's something about like being born on a mountain. I mean, his family's estate being in the Mountains of Mist kind of checks with that. So you'd have to do more research to see if that really tracks. But on a surface level, that makes sense. But yeah, like it's you feel like there's more stuff like to the east of here that needs to be done.
What do you mean?
Like in terms of like prophecies and stuff like that, like you know, Tal's whole argument is like why he should just go somewhere else.
He is.
There are other places that he needs to go. There's to
right.
the east of here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, Tal, I'm not expecting you to accept this. I'm as shocked as you are. I just think we should perhaps keep an open mind.
There's a lot about Logain that we've been told. Meeting the man himself somehow conflicts wildly with what I've learnt of him from others.
I can keep an open mind about who he is and what he does and why he does it. But there's nothing that will convince me that he needs to stay here in order to do whatever he needs to do.
I don't think he is, Tal. Why do you think he's given us 5 days so that we can't report his location? It's a military strategy. He's probably moving out soon.
And is nobody concerned about Brenta?
I'm sorry,
Everyone
I
gets really cagey about her.
legitimately forgot who Brenta was.
In Morburn, the guy who was there, Brent, his mom, Brenta.
You never spoke to him.
I panicked. Okay.
Yeah, I've never heard of Brenta before,
wasn't
actually.
Brenta.
I'm gonna assume that on the boat they told you.
This is the
told you at
NPC
some
of a mother of an NPC you never spoke to.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
should
Keep
really get with it,
Sorry.
Derek.
You know the backstory that I made up on the spot of the 15-minute NPC? Zach.
This
know
is
you
a
were
character
mentioning-
that's in book 3. Zach,
Very,
you didn't read it?
It's very dear and near to our heart.
Oh, I asked him. There were so many people who went missing from Morburn, he said. So I asked him, who should I look out for? He said his mom, Brenta. And so
Tal, this is one of the
everyone's
places.
super cagey about it.
No, I've
are-
noticed that as well.
I believe that Brenton might not be here, and that the people who did what they did in Morburn, if he walks the walks, he speaks. If he walks the talks, the speaks.
The rocks, they're coming.
Come full circle. Why can't I talk rock? Can't do any of this.
I just like looking at you because you can tell that you've moved on from that sentence.
I
You're
am
like, there's
so
nothing...
done with. If he actually believes in what he says, he will be looking in to what has happened and to the people who did it. I am happy we're here for 3 to 4 days because we will be able to
5
observe
days.
5 days,
Possibly less.
possibly less. That is one of the numbers, but it will be interesting to see how he rolls with what he says. I think we're going to be able to gauge better who he is than that brief interaction we had with him. One thing that is surprising me, as I'm sure, Dirk, you must be feeling, is he has been channeling for a long time.
He radiates with power. Do you see it?
You don't see it.
I don't see
but
it.
you know that you wouldn't see it.
He's got a really billowy cloak.
I don't, but do you?
It's I haven't seen it on anybody. It's I don't even know what it is, but he scares me.
We're going to have to be very careful with what we try around him.
If you have seen it on him, has he seen it on you?
I mean, I don't even see anything on me, right? I don't see it.
No, you don't see.
Yeah.
You don't see it on you.
At this point, could I just creep out of the tent to make sure
No.
no one's... Okay.
You creep out of the tent and someone goes, "Good night."
Bradley, we're stage whispering.
No, actually, what I've been trying to weasel my way into this moment to say is, at a certain point during like a long protracted silence after like he scares me, and I think you all like think of like the destruction that Dirk is capable of wielding, even at his like low, like I guess learning level. Him being afraid of the power of Logain is sobering enough that you're all silent for a moment. And it doesn't take much longer than a moment for you all to realize that in spite of yourselves, even you try and like make yourself in the most uncomfortable position you can out of like resilience and stubbornness, but you've all been sleeping outside in snowdrifts for 4 days in howling winds, and it is alarmingly nice. As troubled as you are and as like restless as your sleep is, you all feel like the warmth of this space, and sort of like lamely discuss the idea of setting up watches, but eventually do all succumb to a somewhat...
Bradley, it's in our name.
No.
Don't take this from
the
us.
answer is none of you. You somewhat, at the same time, restless and restful sleep as the night takes you and you await for the following morning. And so from that restful night, you guys all awake at sort of various times. When Lior wakes up, that is the sort of the cutoff point for everybody else waking up, because you awake with like a loud, like final, like loud, and it sort of echoes inside of this cloth tent impossibly. But everyone else would have awoken by that point. But you guys wake up, and initially there's like a, oh shoot, and you turn and look, and all your belongings are still there. There is a space. They managed to carve out like, and they didn't really have space for your hammer, but they took out the stick in the middle of the tent and just put your hammer down on the ground so that it holds it up, because that's the only place it fits. Your sword is still there. You have all your belongings, and you hear the sounds of people moving around. You look at your tent, and sort of where a sunbeam is falling on the outside, you could sort of see like it's projecting a shadow of some person. But you guys wake in the morning and hear the sounds of people moving around, the occasional, yelling child as they run around. But yeah, you wake up and you have the day to speak to who you want to speak to, look into what you want to look into, with the understanding that you may be sort of followed. And you can also ask someone if there are questions that you have about the camp.
I think it's time we look for Brenta. Do we start there?
Yes.
Or do we start with your brother?
Nope, he can wait.
I think Brenta will confirm to us what we're all...
Can I just mention, if I was Logain and, according to Tal, kind of maybe this less than good person, that potentially if I had a prisoner who allowed 4 other random people to sneak into... Oh, I'm so sorry, what happened? 4 random people? Okay, anyway, sneak into that. we're going to maybe want to check up on him and make sure he's okay. Okay?
And Tal will mouth at you without any voice, still inside of her tent. Stop talking about Sword Guy. Unless I fully misunderstood
You're
you,
gonna hear-
in which case Tal also misunderstood you.
You're gonna hear telepathically, snitches get stitches.
I don't know when I mentioned Sword Guy, but that was on me. Okay, let's go get Brenda.
Were you talking about Sammy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying
yeah.
the guy who got us in.
No, I'm
Taryn
talking
and
about
my
Sammy.
cow.
I was gonna be
Oh.
like, why do you care about this guy?
Yeah, no, sorry. That's
Why are we checking in on Sword Guy?
We're
Can
just
you
checking-
repeat what you said?
Yeah, just like we should check in on Sammy because if Logain thinks that like these 4 people
He's
came
the
in looking
leak,
for
like,
him, he's the key for us. Like I
No,
would
okay.
knock him up a little bit to be like, why are you? Who the heck are you? You didn't listen to me.
I thought you meant,
Yeah.
how did these 4 sneak in? It must
Yeah.
be because of
It's
someone.
not. It's not like
Yeah.
who do they sneak in for?
Yeah.
Okay, we understand each other.
If
we could just be courteous.
Okay, cool.
we can all be civil.
I mean, I understood you. I was very confused by Tal's remarks.
That table was very old.
No, I was with you. I was with you.
I saw you roll to see if
And I
anybody
just
overheard him.
loved like the stop talking about Sword Guy. Such an insane thing to dramatically whisper. Okay, yes,
All right.
yes.
So do you want to check on your brother?
Doesn't seem so bad now, yeah. I say we do that second.
Maybe he knows who to ask for Brenta. And you know what? If he realizes that there's people who were brought here from Morburn who didn't make it anywhere else because they died, well, so's the better.
We all had to restful sleep. Let's go.
Where are you off to?
I don't exactly know which one.
I
Like,
think
what do you want to
When
check in
we
on?
step out of
Yeah.
our tent, can I see Sammy's tent from here?
You can't see Sammy's tent from where you are. Your tent is more in the center, and Sammy's tent is on the exterior line of, and sort of what you had gathered, Dirk, was that the exterior ring of the camp is more like people who are ready to be on watch and stuff like that. You guys are the interior where the main hub is focused, where a lot more of like the lively stuff was last night, and where it looks like a lot of like the families are.
Right. Shall we get some breakfast and maybe try the proverbial Kool-Aid? TM. I'm not sure if I can say that.
A guy opens up the tent flap and goes, "Oh yeah, if you
Oh, yeah.
if you need breakfast, there's some over by the main tent."
How about we get some breakfast, see who's there, and then decide?
Sure. And you guys get out of the tent, and the couple of people that are sort of posted outside your tent that are lightly armed, not wearing like helms or anything like that, but lightly armed, just at ease. They go, "Good morning, welcome."
What are your names?
I don't know. Straight up.
We didn't get this far. No.
Yeah.
We're going for breakfast.
Tom and Jerry.
Dan and Stan.
Stav 2.
Staff 2, staff
Cool.
3.
Do you want them? Do you want them to have
Soldier
names?
number 1 and soldier number 2. Tal just figured if they're gonna be following us around the whole day, we might as well be on a first name basis.
Oh no, we're on a
Actually
rotation.
volunteered.
We're on a rotation.
Cool. Figured you'd be back around though.
Probably.
Brenta? Brenta? Do you know
I don't
where?
know.
Who?
No, I don't know a Brenta. There's quite a few people in this camp.
How long have you been here?
Oh, I've been in this camp for about 6 months.
I mean, does this camp look bigger than my town? Just asks Michelle.
You've I mean it's he's like
My affect didn't
Yeah,
change at all.
I was like, what?
it's okay. I do that to Zach all the time. Yeah, I mean it looks like maybe it doesn't cover the same geographic area because your town
but like
is
the number of people.
yeah, your town almost can't even be said to be a town. It's just a couple of farmsteads that are close to each other, making a community. Number of people dwarfs your town, even with a lot of large families in your town. The condensed nature of the people, you haven't seen anything like that outside of Johanna.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Tal, we asked that lady last night, Lena.
Alina and Eric, perhaps. They could help.
Yeah, I don't think a true word has ever come out of Eric's mouth, except for "Wah, I'm hungry" when he was a baby. That's it.
One of the two guards goes,
See, even he knows I'm right.
I'll deny it.
I don't doubt you. Breakfast.
I'm gonna get some breakfast. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And then just at me.
You go to breakfast, and there's like just a bunch of people that you've never seen before milling around, looking kind of like curiously at you guys. Some people didn't really see you arrive last night. Some did. The main through line is a bunch of kids going, "Whoa!" Looking over at Lior. And like, say something. And a brave little one goes, "Hi."
Hello there.
"Hi, Tox." And kids are sort of like just like scampering around you, mainly Lior, following after you. But there's a breakfast served. There's some eggs. You can hear the distant sounding of some chickens, so clearly they've got plans for sustaining this number of people. There's some, cured like dried meats that are served along with that. You can grab a plate at this cookout. Yeah. Are you guys looking for anything as you're like in with this crowd?
I'm gonna grab a plate of just a little bit of everything and look for the people we saw last night. I'm gonna look for Lena or Eric or...
Throughout the day, yeah, I'll be just looking to see if I see Logain walking around. If like it was a fluke he saw us, or if maybe he like actually patrols the camp and does things that I didn't expect him to do.
Sure, for sure. So give me perception checks for both of you.
I'm looking for prisoners.
You're looking for prisoners? Okay.
Nat 1.
Nat 1.
Yes.
Oh, that's not a 7?
8.
No, it's not a 7.
8. A nat 8?
No, 3 plus 5.
Okay, you don't see Logain really walking around, and you don't see anything. Okay. You're blind now.
You're blind.
No potential.
You look directly into the sun.
Yeah, what were you saying you were looking for? Prisoners?
Yeah.
That's gonna be less
Where prisoners might be kept.
Yeah,
where they might
sure. Give me a perception.
Do I see manacles just lying around?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You can see that you don't really see any sign of like prisoners. What you can see is sort of the area, looking back on the area of tents that you've just left from, you could see that might be the only spot in the camp that there is a wide perimeter around, like of space, that it looks like maybe they do have like a few people like patrolling. You haven't seen anyone else come out of tents. But give me an insight check also on that, if you don't mind.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. I think that you can see that there is a like jovial camp atmosphere. But there are also some people that like when like you see like smiling people and you look over and look at their face, sometimes, not everybody's, but some of the smiles falter or don't reach their eyes, or like look down and like away from your eye. You can't see any like obvious prisoners. You could clearly tell that you just spent the night in the equivalent of jail, where your tent was. But you don't see, this isn't like a manacles and like public display kind of a situation.
Could I keep an eye out for John?
For John? Yeah.
His steadiness was almost unnerving.
Sure. Give me a perception.
I think prisoners is probably too strong a word. I was thinking people who didn't want to be there.
No. Yeah, I think that's what you would see with that. No?
No. It's a 2.
It's a 2?
Plus 6, 8.
Sure. You hear someone like stone cold go, "This is good bacon." But you just turn around and it's just like some other guy. It's like, "Oh, hi."
Completely daring.
Is he vegetarian? Is that why? Did I offend his people?
You did.
Yeah.
Deeply.
Oh, no.
You're going to have to get him like a full like casso of raspberries. What's casso in English?
I don't know.
Container of raspberries.
Wow.
To really assuage the offense.
And more bacon.
I don't think raspberries are in season in the forest.
So just double the bacon.
But
No,
it was
he's talking
offensive.
about himself.
It was a.
Sorry.
No,
I'm hungry.
he wants the bacon.
And then
And he wants to eat you.
claps you on the shoulder. Goes, "Welcome aboard." At this point, the woman introduced as Lena comes back over to you guys, and she comes over and says, "Oh, good morning. Sorry, I'm afraid I didn't quite introduce myself last night. My name's Lena Arbrick. Pleasure to make your acquaintance."
Pleasure to meet you, Lena. I'm Paige Bundelberg.
Wonderful.
How long have you been here?
Oh, I've been here since the beginning. I've grown up with Logaina's childhood friends.
Wow, that's quite some time.
Quite some time indeed.
Yeah, for the whole ride.
The whole thing. Yes. How did you find your night's rest?
Unsettlingly comfortable.
You wouldn't, you know, you might not believe it. We get that a lot. Give me an insight check.
Yeah.
All of us? Or?
Yeah, everybody. Everybody can do that.
Change the dice. No dice.
Factor in your expertise.
Yeah. 28.
I rolled a 2 on every single dice.
28 minus the 20.
8.
Just an 8.
16.
I think you see, while she's having this conversation, she's sort of like ambling along like she's expecting you guys to follow her, and you sort of all might be a little bit off put by this as like just like noble behavior. Like, this is, you know, we're just supposed to follow you. You see that she's walking you to an area with fewer people around and looking at you. And as she turns back around to talk to everyone, she's looking at you, then walking back to an empty space and looking back at you.
I'm following.
She wants to kill us. Yes. No, I'm kidding.
This
Yes.
is where we find out where they get the
Oh
bacon.
no, they'd put her in prison. And I point to our tent.
And she walks over to a point where she's a bit away, and she goes, "I've looked into what you asked last evening. Truth be told, I am not fond of some of the people that this movement has attracted. Some may have even ingratiated themselves to a good degree. Suffice it to say that perhaps some of the volunteers that we've had have been left with little impression that there is another option." You could see now sort of, I don't know which one of you guys it was that read worry on her face.
Me.
It was you. You're sort of seeing crystallizing the idea that this was a thought that she might have had, and then coming in and having, hearing it from other people. Hearing it from some random riffraff might not do it. For qualified people who managed to get in, and one of them being an Ogier, you're quickly seeing that across Gildan, a lot of people in higher up circles having Lior with you and you being with them is like a tacit endorsement of a certain level of
Trustworthiness.
not scumbaggery, you know?
Can I just make a
Brutally
quick
murdered
check?
how many?
I want to just see. Does this like feel like a setup?
They don't need
Like, you know, like the
yeah.
one that my brother did to me, where he's like, "Hey, don't worry, check this thing that I feel really weird about," and I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah, give me an insight check.
Okay, thanks.
Give me an insight check.
I believe in you."
Is my 28 still carrying over? Or
Yeah.
do I need to make another one?
You've got a pretty good read on her.
It's a 9.
It's a 9.
It's a 9.
She goes,
Struggle.
"I am not certain of how to bring it to Logain, but I think a part of him might have had the same worry. Suffice it to say, I am horrified.
Were you not there?
No,
You stay closer to his side than his foot soldiers?
different roles are filled in the camp and across different missions to sort of evangelize. Arik is quite a charming and persuasive individual, and he was sent out from much of the mission to attempt to establish positive views of Loghain and what we're trying to do. For myself, I am mainly, you might call me somewhat of a lore keeper, whereas Loghain was learning to hunt and learning to do all the things that male nobles do. I had the time to go deep into the libraries, and, well, I'm the one who understands most of the prophecies that need to be fulfilled, so I stay here for questions on those matters.
Very interesting.
Very few do venture out. It's in small groups at a time. You're quickly gathering this camp is not necessarily like in the number of like there's 100 people who follow the dragon. It's more like there's like 800 to 1,000 people in this camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a big group.
So who leads his battles?
The battles we thought were an inevitability, and that's why Arik went out with soldiers in case we needed to defend ourselves, but if you'll forgive my saying it, the information that your brother has provided has led to a drastic decrease in the number of conflict of arms that we've experienced in the past several months. You may not believe it, and I don't expect you to, but it really is not the dragon's goal to cause harm. We have to break the world, but not its people.
I want to know who is in charge of the mess at Moorburn.
I've said all I can, but you can make of that what you will.
If you are telling me the truth about everything, then you need to ostracize the person who is in charge at Moorburn. You need to get them out.
It is more complicated than you imagine. However, with the information we've received, we're able to start along that process.
Where's Brenta?
She's in the women's quarters. She's not chained. She's not shackled. At least, never physically, but I'm understanding now that maybe we've been too detached from the growth of the movement and haven't questioned enough whether or not all wished to truly be in our camp. You may visit with her if you wish. I don't know if you have some prior relationship with her, but
Her son is worried.
as I imagine, he might be.
We'll have a word with her. Thank you for this information.
Yes. And now please, I do have to ask for your discretion. And you're seeing cool, like last night she was kind of jovial, hanging around, bonfire stuff. You guys don't need an insight check to see that she is like, she's sweating. It's not warm in here again, right? It's like a nice fall day, but she's like sweating. Her hair's a little bit unkempt, and you can clearly see that she is like stressed. She goes, I have to ask of you that we not bring this to Arik. He cannot know that we have any suspicion. We have to collect as much information as we can before, well, we make our arrangements.
Does he channel?
No, but the men follow him. They like him.
In terms of the conflicts that you say you've reduced, I'm happy to hear that Samuel has had a good impact on that front.
Yes.
Have you only had altercations with the Legion of the Wall, or have there been other groups?
There were rumors of some band of the Children of the Light making their way up from the pit of Amador and into the south of Gildan, but never north of the Bourne, the river.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it is the Legion. Loghain has decreed that any farmers or small village homesteads that put up a resistance are simply to be walked around. it's not a fight that they need to be involved in. Give me an insight check.
Yep.
Would I be able to do one as well?
Sure, yeah. You got a good beat on her.
It's a natural 19 for a 19.
What'd you get? A natural what for a what?
Natural 18 for a total of 27.
Disgusting. You pick up
I couldn't do the backwards math. It's like add 10 minus 1, and I was like, my brain's not working.
you are reading like that is the instructions that we had. Like that, yes. Above a 20, you're reading she's very worried that hasn't been followed.
That there are...
And feeling like that is probably the case, that it hasn't been followed.
When you say hasn't been followed, there are people in the camp that are doing...
As they wish.
As they wish, that's right. Not
Yeah.
representing the movement.
Why have you not brought any of your fears to Logain if you are his friend?
Well, perhaps another time. Suffice it to say that we've been together for a long time and have both desired to see this group grow. And
Not at the expense of your message.
no, certainly not. But I worry at the sort of people that this is attracting.
I would be worried too. If it's his very followers that bring his demise, it would be tragic and the exact opposite of the message that you and him stand for.
Yeah, you're just reading like this is everything she's been thinking for a while. And she sort of blinks and like goes, I think that's enough for now. Sort of like you could tell like she's just been sort of dying to get this information out to someone and hasn't known where to turn to, and turned it to the 4 prisoners who walked into the camp and is now going, whoa!
Super strong instincts.
Yeah. And she goes, I'm going to go back to another place now. Can I point you in the direction of anything else you wish to see?
The women's quarters are over there.
Yes, certainly.
That's where I'm going.
I thought they were that way.
No, she motioned the other way.
No, where she pointed, for sure.
Do we
I'm
even
not-
know what his mother looks like?
You're not allowed in there anyway.
Plan to go inside and say, hey, where's Brenta?
Probably
fair.
like him, but with an A at the end.
Yes. Right.
He takes after his mother.
Then we'll see Sammy.
But yeah, she points you to like the direction of the women's quarters, and you guys set off through camp. Walking, you sort of entered at like the western edge of the camp, northwestern edge, sort of skirting the camp, and this sort of winds you back east and south, still remaining along the inside of the camp, but around that like circle. I keep making every settlement that I'm gonna put you guys in sort of works in rings. God, wow, where do you think he learned his defense system from? Anyway, but you walk like southeast. Still in the center, and you start to see sections where like there are like, you know, for the lack of a better term, like medics tents where you could see like a crude sort of like
Cross.
no like a leather strip that has had like leaves sort of burned into it as a stamp, as a brand. You see just other sections that it looks to be more like it's not so much families or women walking around with their husbands, just you know, women who are in here also having joined the cause. But you see a group of maybe you know, 4 or 5 women sort of like facing away from you, talking to a man who's in their presence, who's wearing like sort of military garb, as you sort of enter the women's quarters.
In true Tal style, the whole time we're walking, just like tossing questions back to the guards following us. Any kids?
Nope.
Wife?
Nope.
Husband?
Nope. That would be wild. in this world.
You gotta ask.
Yeah. No, I'd love to have kids someday. You know, just maybe not like in a, you know, some people have kids here, and maybe it's bad for me to say, but like this, you know, we're traveling a lot.
Environment is is
Yeah,
key.
environment's really important, you know? Like, one of these guards is just like, yeah, man, like, totally. Most of the important part of school is socializing children.
Okay, Tal, can we get back to the thing here?
You don't need to go to school to socialize when you have 11 brothers and sisters. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
It's like very often, very true. I didn't even think of that, yeah. It's like a whole village just in a home, yeah.
And as you say, Tal, could you focus? Come back to us, Tal. You see the group of 5 women, and one of them perks up and turns around, and you have to try very hard to not have your mouth hang open, because in a face more lined than you're used to seeing, and veil covering most of it, but a strand of red hair emerging, you see a very familiar face who looks back at you and says, "Oh, welcome. Have you just arrived?"
We are the new visitors.
That's okay to be nervous. You're in a new place. You're gonna be relaxed. You're gonna be relaxed very soon once you get to know us. Totally fine. You can insight page.
What am I doing?
Just a general rule. You guys can insight check Martin whenever you want.
Yeah, we're going for it then.
13.
But I don't have secrets. Why would you do that?
Roll. What do you need to roll?
14.
I think he should be at disadvantage for his reaction.
No. Absolutely not. I'm not going to punish him for building a character a certain way.
Insight 23.
Oh, it's a 19.
You guys don't read this, but it was oh, well, don't be shy, dear. It's nice to meet you. My name's Myram.
Myram, I'm Paige Bundelberg. It's a pleasure to be here.
Paige Bundelberg. What a lovely name.
Thank you. What did you say yours was?
Myram.
Myram.
Yes.
Myram. It's a nice name.
Yes. What brings you and your friends to the people of the dragon?
We're looking for Brenta.
Yes.
Oh, you're looking for Brenta. Oh, we saw her, how long ago did we see her, dear?
Are you looking at Paige?
No.
I have no idea. I should answer this.
She turns around, she goes, Amelie, how long ago did we see Brenta? And you see, turning around now, the rest of this group of women, your heart drops even further into your colon. These are 3 other women that you recognize as she turns to this woman named Amelie, this woman with, like, olive skin, heavy brows, black hair and dark eyes, and, like, always with pursed lips, who goes, yes, I think I saw Brenta. Oh, hello.
Lovely. Brenta?
My goodness, an Ogier. Wonderful. Brenta, we saw, and the other 2 are looking at you, and are a little, you could tell that they're, like, a little bit, but then they quickly, like, pivot to go, like, oh my goodness, an Ogier, like, focus on that.
They like
Even
you.
gonna go, oh my
You pick up on it. No, Emily goes, oh, I think I saw Brenta. Yes, she was by the linens.
The linens.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And Myram looks at you and says, now what exactly is it that brought you to the people of the dragon, dear? You've got a strange group of friends.
Oh, well, serendipity would have it that we would all get here at the same time. We were actually looking for Tal here, her brother. We had been informed was captured by the army of the dragon.
Oh my goodness.
We discovered that he had found his own way here.
Are any of you here against your will?
That's a good question.
She leans in, like, really close to you and goes, no,
Are you sure? We're safe.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure. So sorry.
I'm here because my husband's got this late life idea that he's going to be off in some strong army. Isn't that right, Reg? And you look over, and the man they've been talking
throw
to,
up. I know.
the man that the four of them were talking to, this tall man with gray hair who looks like really old but weirdly strong. Like more like still. Byron had old man strength, but this guy looks like he's still in his prime, but also old. He looks and he goes, "Yeah, I wanted to see some action one more time. Pleased to meet you." And you've met Reg multiple times.
I will bow and avert my eyes and say, "Pleasure." Well,
Linens?
Oh, right, of course, dear. They're right over that way.
Thanks.
Don't mention it. You'll walk off. Do you guys all go for the linens?
yep.
Okay.
Ladies. Walk on.
Gentlemen, don't be sexist.
Reg.
First name basis with Reg.
Reg just goes,
Was he introduced as Reg?
Yeah.
yeah, she said, yeah.
My husband Reg, yes.
You guys walk off. As you walk off, you just feel like a razor thin whip of air that would almost be undetectable just slap you in the back of your thigh.
Those ladies were really nice. Glad they're keeping track of Brenta. We can get this over with quick.
Perhaps we don't crowd her. It might, it sounds like she's not in the best spot at the moment. Tal, you spoke to her son. And Dirk, you are as charming as you ever are.
It is the women's
Don't
quarters.
flirt with her, but...
Should we call her out or?
Are the linens in the women's quarters?
Yeah.
Yeah?
This is a
Right.
pretty gender role oriented world.
No, cool. So maybe
I don't think I should go
Paige and
then.
I should go?
But you're so reassuring, Dirk.
Not in the women's restroom.
Yeah, you see actually as you're like walking past Lior, fine with it.
Yeah, everybody's cool with it. Okay.
But as you're walking past one of the shorter women that you've walked by, this blonde woman goes like, "Oh my goodness, the impropriety," and starts giggling.
Sorry, ma'am. I really shouldn't be here, everyone.
Hey, no, you can go wherever you want.
Now it makes me believe I really shouldn't be here.
You're hiding behind
Yeah,
Lior.
like my shield.
Lior.
I told you not to flirt with people.
I just looked at her.
Tal will just march in, fully oblivious to the fact that she is dressed fully as a boy.
Yeah.
I'm a woman.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you present even as in your male presentation,
Young.
you present more as a boy.
Yeah.
You know, so it's sort of allowed to an extent. And you do see some kids walking around in here. Yeah, you find a section that's full of like linens and stuff like that. And there's a couple women folding sheets, folding up canvas for tents and stuff like that.
Say, excuse me, we're looking for a Brenta.
And the women all turn around, and you see one woman who has sort of a bemused expression on her face and like a gray wimple, and goes, yeah, hi, I'm Brenta. And it's like immediately like
Same cadence.
it just looks like a Snapchat filter where his face is on. Immediately. Yes. I don't think I've met you before.
Not at all. Can we have a chat?
Certainly. Do you need linens? I can get you some towels.
Nope, just you.
Okay. And she sort of walks aside with you.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Brenta.
I'll hook arms with her and start
You already knew that.
leading her kind of towards the exit where these guys are.
Yeah.
And I'll say really quietly, "Your son says hi."
She just looks at you, and immediately tears well up into her eyes. She goes,
He's okay.
"Oh, thank the light. When did you see my Brent?"
5 days ago?
It's a little hazy. I don't want to say
Seven
a
or
strong,
Timey-wimey.
like a strong week and a half, maybe. Yeah.
Less than a fortnight.
Less than a fortnight. Wow. Is he's okay? He's still at home?
He's worried. About you.
Yeah. He was always a good boy.
Why haven't you gone back to him?
Why haven't you reached out? He doesn't know if you're alive.
I can't reach out. What kind of... What letter could I send from this camp? They wouldn't want any mail leaving here.
Do you want to leave? Because we can make that
Yes.
happen.
How?
Well,
Of course I want to leave, but there's not much of a choice.
why not? The dragon says he'll let anybody leave.
What?
That's
His right-hand woman, Lena, says that anybody can leave.
Just to fully understand, you believe that you cannot leave these grounds, correct?
Who told you that?
Well, it's certainly hard to imagine walking back by myself. I was... Oh, that terrible man, he didn't really give us much of a choice. It was
Which man is this?
it was up north or down the river.
What's down the river mean? Like, down the river?
Morburn's on a river. It's not great water this time of year.
Which man was it that was threatening you?
Oh, the one with the terrible hair.
Was it the one who talked like this?
Yeah.
Is there a group of women who feel that way?
There's not many. It seemed like they took what they needed to have things done for him on the way up. He seems like a bit of a lazy man.
Could you come with me? No.
If we could, hang on, no.
Impropriety.
Yes. I'm not here. I'm not doing anything.
No, I think she walked over to where you guys were, like,
yeah.
sort of
Yeah, but I
awkwardly
don't want
pacing.
it. It's okay. We're good.
If we could, I don't want to spring anything on you, but if we could arrange for maybe some point this evening for you to talk to somebody who will hear you, would you be willing to do that so that you can go home to Brent?
If it means I can go home to Brent, then sure. Of course.
Okay.
I'm just afraid it'll get back to him.
Your secret is safe.
She will be discreet, and we will be discreet, and everything will be discreet. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Glad
short
you
of
could
any
see where
way
it's
to
going.
get word back to him, I can't really imagine making that journey in the winter.
We'll figure something out.
Okay. This is the closest thing to... You know, it's not so terrible here. It's just not my home.
I understand. Very much. Brent would be very happy to know that you're safe.
Yeah, every time you say Brent, every time you say his name, and like as she swallows, you see like the tears receding in her eyes, just barely holding it together.
We'll let you know how, when and how maybe we could get you back home.
Okay.
To Brent.
Whoa.
No, just joking.
But you scream from across the field. But she's going, well, what if I need to find you? How can... Whoa. And she looks over back where you guys are sort of like standing around the edge and you're standing there.
You know the tent in the middle that is essentially prison? That's where we'll be. That's where we sleep.
Okay. Well, I
So-
probably won't walk up to the prison tent. That seems
No.
a little conspicuous.
But if you're like within, I'll look for you.
Okay. I got my eyes peeled. Yeah, you can see this world, glasses aren't super a thing, but the way that she's
She
looking
needs
at you
them.
and her eyes are just sort of like swimming.
I thought she was sad.
I was gonna say, not just the
She
tears.
could use some specs. for
Just
sure.
myopia. That's
Yeah,
very sad.
Most definitely.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good rest of your day. Well,
Thank you. This might be one of the better days I've had in a while. What are you doing here?
we thought we were saving someone, but it turns out
We're saving someone else.
we're saving someone else.
And she just smiles real big.
with no teeth.
Yeah, no teeth. It's just like,
Just like Brent. It's great.
No, Brent's got all his teeth. He brushed very well. He's a good boy.
He doesn't smile with them though. Just like that. That's
No. How long did you talk to him?
about 15 seconds. Yes.
Seconds?
Minutes?
Probably a couple of minutes.
I was going to say, that might be a new record.
This poor guy. Right.
Well, I'll get back to it.
Paige will bow her head and back away respectfully.
Yeah, sure. And she walks off, and you see sort of one of the other women is peeking out past the tent. She waves her back in. She turns around and waves back to you and goes back into where she was working.
Okay.
Shall we find your brother? I think we've put it off perhaps long enough.
I don't know. I have some very important weaving to do.
Well, how about you weave on the way, Tao?
Not how weaving works.
I don't know. You could be like that girl in one of my classes who knits in the middle of it.
Knitting and weaving, totally different things. Pulls a mini loom out of her back.
Tao,
A travel loom.
it's okay to be nervous. I don't know how I'd feel if... Well, I know actually exactly
I was gonna
how
say,
I'd feel
you don't know
if
how
my
you feel to speak
brother
with your
betrayed
brother
me.
who betrayed, yeah?
Yeah, that's pretty right on point.
At
It's
least I
difficult.
don't have to worry about my brother shooting me.
I don't think you do. You might. I'd say be on guard. It happened once to me, and so that was pretty rough. But I think you're going to be okay. And maybe we'll find out that he is mind controlled. I mean,
That'd be nice.
right?
Is that how you feel? That he betrayed you?
Well, yeah. He takes the information that he got as a soldier of the Legion of the Wall and gives it to the people who are in a war against us. I don't care whether or not
It's to save lives or not, yeah.
that was mean.
No,
Yeah, Paige.
I think
I don't think that was mean. I think it's hard to see what may be right from one perspective when we're coming from another. And I can imagine this is very difficult for you.
I think your other brothers are all very good at what they do. Most of that involves following orders. And they do that very well. But when you spoke to me of Sammy, you told me of his idealism, of how he always wanted the best. And I saw you in that. So, I know it seems hard right now, but when you see him, do try and keep an open mind.
As you guys are walking through the camp,
Waiting for Larry now. This is the only thing that'll turn it around.
hey, guess what? No, as you guys are walking through the camp and having this discussion, people are sort of like jostling into you. Someone bumps into you a little bit hard, but grabs your hand and slides a paper into it without anyone else noticing. And you turn around and you look, and it's a tall head of gray hair who's walking away towards, like, it looks like a group of militiamen, and has handed you a note in familiar handwriting that says, like, come back. Let's talk. Destroy this.
Eats it.
100%. You stop by at the breakfast table, pick up a piece of dried meat, wrap it into paper.
Piggies in a blanket.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys wind your way back. It not being the middle of the morning, you do nonetheless find yourselves at the spot that you entered camp at. Once again, these guards following you, and a perimeter of guards, not like actively, posted up on the perimeter of the camp, but milling around, certainly. Some going in. You see disconcertingly people walking in clearly, not super seeing where they're going, and then a moment passing and reorienting their eyes, what you must have experienced walking into this camp yesterday. But you see that despite it being hours later than you had said you would be by, Sammy is just sitting cross-legged at the foot of his tent. And when you guys walk up, he stands up and brushes himself off real quick and goes, good morning. I hope you all slept well.
Boy, that's okay. I don't really like Sammy right now. So if he's at like the entrance to his tent,
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna sock him in the gut and just like as he bends forward, grab him by the throat and just like drag him into the tent and like put him into the middle pole. And like then I'll leave him so he can like double over, but like he's sitting and now we're talking.
Sure.
Are you gonna yell at him? We're the good guys.
Yeah, he you sock him and you see a guard starts to move. You are probably just doing your work here. The rest of you guys see doubled over Sammy waves the guard off and you just throw him into the tent. The guards that you're probably not noticing this, I would imagine, but
I imagine I'm just.
yeah, the guards that have been following you guys look to each other and nod like they've been expecting this. And yeah, he doesn't resist at all.
Perfect. Just to bring him in, so now that we're in the tent, well, let outside just a little
Again,
bit of relief.
the canonically small tent that maybe had enough room for 3 people to lie down side by side. I think you are probably standing in there. You leave room for Tal to walk in if you want to. If not, Paige can walk in, and you kind of just have to.
Paige can walk in.
For sure. I figured you'd be sort of standing on the threshold.
Before Paige walks in, she's going to quickly look at Tal, and Tal's going to hear in her mind, do you want me to listen? Listen in. If you know what I mean. And Tal will walk in.
Yep. First things first, give me an Arcana check.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe this is
You can't cast in this place.
15.
I mean,
15.
Tal.
The discussion yesterday of Dirk having noticed this glow around Logain makes you think of any channeling that you do will put the same glow around you.
Would that be in a way that... Because I knew I couldn't see Logain's. I don't...
With a 15, the thing that you connect that to is the letter that you received that said, only trust the blues.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
you know, you were hit with a very small bit of air just before around someone who knew that they were among
Yeah.
a Sedai.
Yeah.
But you think of that and you can do what you want. You just understand that there is potentially a risk.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I will communicate that and say, actually, this may not be safe. I'll listen in the way you do. And I'll bow my head and walk in the threshold.
With my heart.
As soon as Paige goes in, as soon as Paige goes in, like Tal's just gonna look at it. Well, that's not helpful.
Yeah, don't worry, I got you. What's up?
Never mind. I rolled an Arcana
With my
check and
ears?
it's not a
Yeah,
good idea.
you've got him in here.
Okay. Listen. Good morning, afternoon.
Afternoon.
We have a couple questions for you, Sammy. We've come a very, very long way.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have.
You've made my friend Tal very upset.
I can see that I have made Tal very upset.
Yes. And if...
I don't imagine he can see me.
He can. I mean, I think he can.
Maybe he can like see my shoulder.
Unless you're
but-
standing in a place that you would decide if he can see you or not.
Yeah,
You're standing
I
outside.
don't want him to be able to see my. I want him to know I'm there, but I don't want him to be able to see my face.
Okay, sure.
Give me those sad puppy dog eyes.
And I'll be like, now, we're done messing around. And you'll answer this as if your life depended on it. And I'll go in and give him another sock so that he grunts a little bit and like he excels, whatever, like just knock the wind out of him. But I'm gonna say like I'm just gonna blink twice, like blink twice if you'd like to like leave the camp if you're trapped here. Yeah, and then I'll just lean back.
Yeah, and he goes, I'm in a little bit of pain, so it's really hard not to blink twice.
Blink, yeah, God damn it, just blink once if you don't want to leave.
I have to blink. That's just how people work.
Okay, well, give me a thumbs down if you want to leave. Damn it, Sammy, you're making this difficult.
I don't think I am. I think I'm answering your questions pretty
It's just
clearly.
tough. Well, there's... I've tried to knock the mind control out of him.
The mind control? What?
Well, why else would you have joined the dragon?
I'm not being compelled in any sort of way to be here.
But look at you. You're
Yeah?
malnourished.
No, I'm not. I'm just thin and powerful.
Everything you said.
We're gangly.
Sorry.
No, we've compared him to Victor already. We have to be really positive. I'm probably in the best shape out of anyone in this group.
Like,
If we're being honest. No offense to any of you guys.
I was gonna say, to all the people out there, not a word of a lie.
No,
This dude
100%
ripped.
true. Oh my god.
I don't even know what the was that. Tal, I need your help.
You think I'm being held prisoner?
Yes. I mean,
No.
Like
no.
Brenta. I'll step inside. As much as I can.
I'll leave. I'll get out.
Brenta came along from Moorburn, right?
Yes.
What's this about her being a prisoner?
She doesn't want to be here. She wasn't given a choice. Some who are here by choice, and some are here because they were told that they had no other choice.
No, we... Eric told me that it was only... It seemed like everyone wanted...
Not everyone is as trustworthy as a leader as Felix is. You put your trust in the wrong place.
Can I tell you why I wanted to leave?
Not yet.
See, Felix... No, you need to hear this. Felix sits inside of a walled city. Otto and Cyrus do their best.
No one could keep a straight face.
I'm the one who's out there. I'm the one who's been leading all of these raids, or cities where the people of the dragon have been harbored. And sometimes we found them, and sometimes we found miscreants who just wanted an excuse to watch something burn. And for a while, we were doing good work. But only for a while. You see, governments want things to be tied off with a bow. The Crown High Council wanted to make sure that there was no problem, that we weren't going to have a civil war. They want the people to be calm. And so, when pockets kept springing up of more and more people swearing for Logain, well, maybe they started to get a bit more aggressive with their tactics. At first, it was making an example out of them in front of other people, making it a show. And then it was cutting off the water supply for any town that was keeping these people fed, whether on purpose or not. Make no mistake, I know it's not always on purpose. I know it's not always willing. And one day, maybe they stopped having us ask whether there was anyone in the barn before we set it on fire.
Sammy. I love you with all my heart. But you are describing tactics of war that are used on both sides. Did you not see Moorburn? Have you not spoken to the people who are here who don't want to be? Who were given no choice?
You see like sort of like a clashing of like two stories.
Clearly you should not claim for the dragon Clearly, you shouldn't be a soldier, and that is okay.
I didn't come here because I wanted to follow Logain. I came here because I wanted to find a way that I could make up for what I did. I know where they're trying to go, and I know where Felix is being told that he has to send people. If I can avoid anyone meeting, then those places are okay.
That's not gonna work.
It's worked so far.
But there's a finite amount of time that's not words that Tal would use.
You can use it, it's fine. I've been making like pop culture references this whole time, so.
That's only gonna work for as long as they don't know the information's coming from you.
Logain's not staying here forever. Once the weather clears up, he's moving east. I just need to buy time.
Out of Gildane?
Yes.
And what will you do then? You'll go with him. Because you won't be accepted back to the Legion of the Wall.
No, I can't go back there. I wouldn't want to. You know, there's such a process of feeding a city and making sure that there's a proper way to have the farms flow in so that in the winter no one goes hungry and everyone Johanna has to be kept safe and sound. And sometimes maybe the people who run the farm don't stop to ask the butcher whether or not he's doing too much. And you see, like, you never noticed, like, bruises or cuts or anything like that, but you see, like, bags under his eyes in the same way, like, kind of ironically that Felix looked. Felix had looked like at his wit's end, had gone totally bald since the last time you saw him. You see Sammy is just, like, haunted. I've done too much to ever think of this as a home that I ever protected. If I have to go with Logain, I have to go with Logain, but I signed up to protect the people of Gildane, and I'm just doing that the best way I know how.
The same thing is happening on this side. You're just not the one in charge of it anymore.
Give me an insight check.
17.
You can see he's getting riled up, but he's not angry at you. I think with the 17, you can see that he is not someone who has made his peace. He is someone who is trying desperately to find whatever that means for him. And what you're describing, what you're explaining, is showing that maybe that was a futile endeavor for him to try and make. This was maybe the wrong horse to hitch his wagon to. He goes, no, that doesn't, Eric said that everyone was volunteering and that Dirk, make an insight check for me.
Mm-hmm. I don't trust any of you today.
Use the big boy.
Said the voice inside Dirk's head.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good for a second.
Can I get like a reroll since you made me roll a nat 1?
Freaking idiot.
Can't believe you listened to me.
You're in my head.
Should have given you mine.
Yeah, that I feel bad for that.
I was tempted to use it anyway.
You could tell that he's like, for whatever reason, he has trusted Eric implicitly.
Well, that was the question Tal was going to ask next.
Yeah.
Why do you trust him?
They were about to. In Morburn, they were about to set fire to this building that I was trapped in. And he stopped them. I think he saw a look in my eye. But he just asked me if I wanted to see the fighting stop. And I did. I do want to see that. That's all I want. He told me there were two options. That they could take me in the unpleasant way, or I could travel with them of my free will. And now I'm aware that those are not real extensions of free will, but he was kind to me on the road. He explained things in a different light. I saw where he could have been cruel and chose not to, and turned the other way.
And when you weren't looking, he was cruel anyway. I've spoken to people in this camp who don't want to be here. They said the hard way, and they're still here. Because he did not give you a choice to come here. He said you're coming or you're coming, and you can be in pain or you cannot be in pain. Those aren't options, Sammy.
Give me persuasion with advantage. Oh, so close. So close.
16.
16. I just see the 20 on like a diagonal facing
Yeah,
me. I'm like,
that's
oh,
the 8. That's the 8 that I rolled.
so close.
Yeah, so close.
16 is still pretty good. Sammy just... This isn't like an earth-shattering, like, realization like, oh my god, how could I have been so wrong? It's just, all like any earnestness that he was trying to explain his cause to you with, he goes, the people from Morburn, they don't want to be here.
Some of them don't.
Does Lo... Stops himself. Does the dragon know?
I don't know. And I don't have any opinions about what the dragon does and does not do. My only problem is that he's causing war here, but if he plans to move east...
He does.
I can't believe I'm saying this. You are... everything I've ever wanted to be.
She starts crying.
You are smart. You are kind. You are funny. You care about people. You care about strangers to the detriment of yourself. So, I give you this. Speak with Lena. Tell her that after our conversation this morning, I sent you to her. Because you would be a really good Eric. And when the dragon goes east, go with him. Just give me a letter for Mama.
They've been alone with Toby for a long time. Are they doing okay? And just starts crying and like dives into you at this point. In spite of yourself,
No, for sure.
you've come into the tent.
Eloise has tried to visit, but honestly, she's got the kids, and
She's
since
got-
the twins were born, I don't know.
She's got so many kids. Why is it that every big family feels the need to have a big family?
I don't know.
Just a total.
What is going on in there?
You're taking notes. You're like, humans, so interesting. But just, and at a certain point, breaks off the hug. Goes, so I'm imagining that we're trying to play it cool for a little bit on the Eric situation. Noted. I'll try not to set his barn on fire for a few days. No hint of a joke on that. Just dead. Like, this is his, like, in a kind of real sense, this is like his Vietnam kind of a situation. He goes, well, hey, maybe I could show you guys around the camp later. Show you sort of where our watches are and whatnot. How did you find exactly where I was, by the way? That's resourceful. You're resourceful, Tao.
That's the one thing I got on you.
Yeah. Seriously, how did you guys get in here? That's...
Resourcefulness.
Who slipped?
Resourcefulness.
I'm just gonna keep saying resourcefulness. Anytime any one of them open their mouths, I'm gonna kick them.
Eventually he fails a con save and gives up. But yeah, he sort of like, you know, you have this moment where you're catching up, and I think at a certain point, you probably, maybe this is a moment for the two of them. Dirk, what are you feeling seeing this?
At this point, I've heard Tal say, like, oh, if you want to travel east, like, you kind of have my blessing, you go ahead. And, like, that catches Dirk off guard. That doesn't sound like something Tal would say. But if she is saying this and they are crying, I'm going to look at Leor, and he's kind of being like, oh, a moment. I'll just nod, and I'll follow Leor wherever he's kind of going if we're taking a break.
My question for you, have you been hanging out this whole time?
Yeah.
It's been real awkward.
It's too awkward to leave at this point
Yeah,
because you've
can't-
been there the whole
no.
time.
He
Can't
just
say
like moonwalks out of the tent amidst the crying. No.
No. Paige has
Comes in
her.
on the hug.
We have so many siblings. Honestly, we expect it at this point.
Speaks into his, welcome to the family.
No, honestly, to that, it's Paige would be looking back, and her arms would be like not crossed, not a confident. It would just her arms hanging loosely by her sides, just looking at Tal the whole time. What she hears coming from Sam is what she expected, but as she sees Tal start to understand Samuel's perspective, you'll see her eyes get a little bit watery, but she'll just stay quiet and listen to someone finally understanding that something has transformed in a way that one might not have been happy with, but it is the same person that they love, and they will accept that transformation nonetheless.
I think too, like, you've had some training in like mediation and stuff like that, and conflict resolution, and so like there's probably a part of you that wanted to like step in and be like, I think what we're trying to say here is, but one of the only times that you've ever had to like purposefully like sing elevator music in your mind to distract yourself was when Sammy started talking about what his military actions actually were, trying to root out the people of the dragon. The just like general like ebb of voices just got like unbearable to listen to, and that at that point I think you were like stunned and you just let it play out the way it needed to play out. Yeah,
that's probably what happened.
You guys have the rest of a day of an afternoon. Is there anything you're looking for? Anyone you're trying to see? Anyone you're trying to follow up with as the day progresses?
After I walk a little bit with Lior, I'm going to just stop kind of dead center and go, I need to speak with him.
Who is this now?
Logain.
Dirk. You know the dangers of that.
I do. But you saw John over there.
I can't believe I never asked for your names. That's stupid. Ugh.
He's been channeling for years.
I understand.
He knows something.
Perhaps.
And if she's okay with Sammy going with the dragon when we're done, she'll be okay if I go.
Well, I'm not sure of that, but I would just be very careful with what you're doing. I think if you start to ask, it's difficult for him not to catch on.
Maybe I won't ask about that yet, but at least... Lior, I haven't told you this. I've only told Paige, and I'll kind of look around and kind of try to bring him to an area where there's like not many people.
Just Paige.
Just Paige.
Always Paige.
And I'll just be like,
give me like a survival,
Not you.
perception, investigation.
Lior, help me out. Pick a good spot.
This is the worst
Advantage
luck
from Lior.
I have ever seen in my life. I'm gonna say advantage Lior.
I don't think I've rolled over a 5 all session.
No, it's really sad to watch what's happening to you.
The odds.
Wait. This has been good to me today.
I can't take your mojo. I can't do it. That's a 5.
Wow!
You should have taken my mojo.
It's by episode. Like, there's one episode he made every single wisdom save.
Survival is a +5, so
easily.
10.
10. Okay. You find an area that's cordoned off pretty well.
And I'll kind of pull down my hood and I'll go, Lior, and I'll just like run my hand through my hair and see if I like pull any more hair out like close
For that matter, give me a con save.
Yeah. I'm so scared all the time. Okay, dear Lord. 25.
You run your hand over, but in the last few days, it's like a bit of stubble has sort of started to grow back. That shouldn't be happening, but you rolled a 25.
And I'll just show him my thumb. I'm losing my hair. I'm losing my fingernails.
You're losing your mind.
And the channeling is taking its toll, Lior.
Dirk, how long has this been happening?
To be honest, ever since we've been traveling together. But it's been manageable. It's
Dirk,
just...
what part of losing your nails and your hair is manageable?
Well, honestly, until I saw how Logain was dealing with channeling, I thought I was doing a pretty good job. But he has to be the dragon, Lior. There is no other explanation.
I don't know, Dirk. But perhaps you're right, perhaps it cannot wait.
Okay. Yeah, and just to see, he wants some truth, so we'll give him some truth. I am interested in what he's got to put down, and our group was here for Sammy, but...
Dirk, just don't promise him something you aren't ready to give.
Yeah. That's good. I don't got much left, right? Sorry.
Oh, you're the new arrivals, right? Someone walks up to you guys wearing one of those pins, a soldier-looking individual.
Who's asking?
The Lord Dragon.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, he's asked if you'd all care to join him for a walk outside this evening. Should I tell him that he can expect you?
Did he want all of us?
As many of you as wish to go, yes.
I guess at this point, I would like kind of guide Sammy over here, seeing there's someone come to talk to you guys.
Yeah, sure.
Be like, and then one time Dirk asked me to get lockpicks. What's going on?
That was a good story. We're apparently the dragon would like us to meet him tonight for a walk, which was funny because I figured we might as well talk to him at some point too.
Sounds good to me.
We're here on his hospitality, I guess so.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let him know and enjoy your day. We'll have lunch soon. You can come grab something. Dragons might be upon you. And sort of...
I'm not going to say that back.
Totally fine. And Sammy goes, and with your spirit.
And Tal would say that, and mighty to
Ducks,
you too.
yeah. And Paige, you see, as this person walks away, you see leaning out from the corner, red hair with, again, a lined face that you're not used to seeing. Red hair. And call me. And
Do I see her?
Yeah, do we see her?
what's everyone's passive perception?
15.
15. You have 15?
Yeah.
15.
15.
13.
And 10.
You see this because she was going to get into your field of view. You don't see
So
this.
she drops it down to a
The two of you absolutely do see this woman that you ran into earlier going, call me. And you're
Yeah,
all
she's talking to you or me?
so distracted either by this feigned or not sort of like actual reunion with your brother, with the horrifying fear of seeing a mentor that you did not expect to see here present at this camp with you, and you as well picking up on this. None of you notice the figure who has been watching this conversation between you two lean against a tent, nod, and walk away. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Oh, Brad.
None of you saw that.
Yeah, none of you saw it.
None of you saw it.
No, I was very distracted with my story about getting lockpicks.
I love that it keeps coming up, and I love that it's a session 0 thing that we're just hammering its way into cutscenes.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
man.
put that as a flashback somewhere.
You couldn't help
Listen.
me morally or with that survival check, huh? You couldn't have helped me. And anyway, I blame this guy.
He should have rolled it.
I was allowing you a chance to redeem yourself.
Unfortunately, this was Dirk's big day to try and do a big thing. I mean, your hair's growing back.
My hair's growing back.
Yeah,
It's
your hair's
getting
growing back.
That's
yeah.
what matters, because that's...
It might
Yeah.
be the cold. Who knows? It's like
Yeah.
now that it's warm.
You got that fantasy Rogaine. Well, that was great, guys. You know I was telling you guys we're definitely getting to a combat, but we all as a group, me included, love just like cagey conversations where no one tells the truth and ask a lot of questions.
Those conversations.
I know you do.
Me like Michelle.
Yes. But you guys sort of got your first introduction to Logain Ablar, this immensely powerful figure politically as a revolutionary in the country of Gildan and in the world at
Gildan.
large.
Inspiring, really.
And are finding out that this mission that he has is maybe not quite what you have believed, and maybe that its rollout is not as unified as you might have expected. Where this goes next time, who knows? I'll tell you, definitely in a combat. Something's gonna drop from the sky if you guys talk for too long. But hey, that's on me too. If you've been watching, thank you so much for tuning in. You can catch next week's session airing. Oh, it's happening. I was
You can't walk the talkie rock.
Yes, I can't walk the rock talks. You can catch the next episode airing next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, I've been Brad, and this has been Who's Taking Watch, The dragons might?
Mm.
Mighty? Mighty not?